But it looks like we are ready to begin. This will be game number 1, so let me do an intro, and we'll get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another qualification series. The winner of this best of 7 series will progress through to the LAN event, where they will compete off against another 7 players. They'll basically be in the top 8. So if they win this, it's a very important series. They'll come to to Manchester, all expenses paid, to compete at the Escape Studio. But this first match will be on Kamchatka. It is Kaiserklein versus Kynesie. Kynesie on a separate account here with a different name. We're using Game Ranger to avoid connection issues. But yes, the players are ready, and I'm definitely looking forward to this series. Spawning in the bottom of the map, in the color blue, we do indeed have Kaiserklein here, playing as the Germans. Starting with 100 wood and a coin crate there, and nearby we have a 30 coin crate as well. So a market definitely possible, but I have a feeling Kaiser won't be doing that. He'll want to get up quickly as the Germans against Japan, but we'll see what he has in mind. Either way, his Explorer is going to march straight to the middle of the map to contest the goats here, and he's going to find 2 goats right away there in the middle, and these appear to be the only 2 goats in the center. Usually 2 groups of 2, but actually sort of Kaiser going to get them. Is this map fair, Mitoe?
Yeah, sometimes the map just spawns with 2 in the middle. I believe that's intended.
Okay, so that's...
I don't know if I don't know if I agree that that's the best thing to do, but that is, I believe, intended, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, either way, Kynesie is going to find a few goats. He's got his cherry orchard wagon sort of out on the map there. He's found a couple of goats with that, and he has got 2 monks since he is, of course, at Japan. So in terms of, like, map coverage, you can already see that he has got a lot more line of sight. He's marched around a lot further and has found a lot more things. And such is the way when you play Japan, you just have more scouts there. Looks like Kynesie is going to chop, actually, for this consulate here. Coin on the floor, coin start. Not ideal for Japan. They don't really want to be gathering all that wood. They'd rather have an extra wood to get this up sooner, but regardless, Portuguese consulate going to come down. A little bit of a hot spot in the middle, 90 wood. That's a really, really solid treasure there. Both players sort of nearby that. Kaiser not going to commit to it just yet. He knows his opponent's nearby. In fact, this whole area, very, very strong. 80 coin as well. And Kynesie just keeping a monk sort of on standby nearby in this location. So I'm going to hand it over to Mitoe and get his thoughts, but he may be a bit quiet. We will fix that. And don't worry, guys, we'll get this all sorted. But yeah, what do you think of the map so far?
Of the map or the matchup?
The matchup, the map, your thoughts, whatever you like.
Well, I guess on this map, it's kind of okay for both civs. Japan, there's a lot of spots for them to place a lot of shrines down rather safely, and not super easy for Germany to contest. There's a lot of choke points, which is going to be really nice for Kynesie later in the game when he feels a little bit safer to move out and wall that. So that's something he's going to be comfortable with, as well as these goats are going to be nice for Japan and these wood treasures and stuff like that.
Oh, this goat. Is it going to get away from the Explorer? Surely not. No, it gets caught. But he didn't want to give up his 50 wood treasure there. Okay, a bit of a contention here. He looks like, Kynesie is going to have a shot at it. He's not taking too much damage. Divine Strike. But I think Kaiser on the ball there, paying attention, and yes, he picks it up. 50 wood to Kaiserklein.
Yeah, Kaiser almost always wins those treasure contentions, it feels like. Whenever I play against him, it's like such a struggle. Whenever his Explorer walks up to the treasure, I'm like, well, this 90 wood is yours now, even though the Guardians are still alive.
Yeah.
But, so that's something he's very good at for sure, and just showing it there a little bit. But, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, as for Germany, though, this map is also still good for them. There's 2 gold mines safe at base. There's a trading post within your base that's very easy to defend. And I think he'll be pretty comfortable as a result of that.
Yeah, I think he's going to be quite pleased with the coin start as well. Obviously, he'd like to get a trade post early if it were a wood start, but against Japan, that's just delaying their consulate, which is something that Kynesie's going to build regardless. But yeah, this map, it's got lots of chokes, like you were mentioning, and we say Kynesie, he's perhaps the strongest player on water. So when there's a water map, he really does quite shine through and is very, very difficult to deal with that sort of Kynesie style. But this, lots of choke points and actually some water as well. No fish in it, so he's not going to be building docks, perhaps, like we usually see. Well, yes, we say it is possible.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if he builds a dock at some point, maybe later in the game. I've played against him on this map before. In this... actually, was it this matchup? I don't know if it was this matchup, but he was playing Japan anyway, and at some point, 35 minutes into the game, he was like, alright, it's time to build monitors.
Yeah, and just start, like, sieging you down with boats floating. I mean, they're really strong if you can get a dock up and put a frigate in here. I've seen Azamp do it, and certainly something you can do on Summer Kamchatka. But just to continue your point, yeah, lots of choke points here, right? You just, like, you could build a wall there, you can build walls on the small passages, and Kynesie, yeah, we can already see, right? Just intending to wall up, and by no means a bad map for him either. I'm sure he'd love to be playing on Baja California, but that's been vetoed, so we will not see that map, and that makes a lot of sense from Kaiserklein. But regardless, this map will still has a lot of, even has a lot of closed off sections that you can wall, and I think Kynesie's style will still be quite strong on this map. So let's catch up with what the players have been doing so far. Then looks like Kaiser, he's gone for a market during transition. He's got his hunting dogs, placer mine, gangsaw, are now getting steel traps in as well, and a trading post to boot. So Kaiser, really nice and set up, playing Germany how we'd expect him to, and not slacking on the upgrades either. However, we do not see a military building from him, so it makes sense why he's able to get all of these upgrades. Looks like he's just going to... Oh, no, he's going to spend the second... batch of wood by the looks of it. Instead of making a military building, going to go for a trading post. So Germany looking to be more eco-focused here and perhaps set up a stronger sort of Fortress Age timing to deal with Japan. Makes a lot of sense because Kynesie so likely to build walls that early pressure just kind of seems a bit pointless, and this is sort of almost a good counter that Kaiser's doing to be good against him. Japan, on the other hand, Heavenly Kami, Portuguese Consulate, and the Toshogu Shrine. He is clearly intending to make a bunch of shrines and 600 wood to help him do that.
Yep, and he's also, even though he hasn't scouted the base with his Explorer, he should be well aware that this trading post should be relatively safe, just because looking at the deck, you can see that Kynesie's sending both 600 wood and 4 villagers, so... oh, you gonna get the 35 food? It looks like he will, actually. But, yeah, so, just, yeah, good counter build from him, knowing that he can get away with being a little bit greedier than normal, just because Kynesie is, of course, always gonna be preferring that turtle sort of style most of the time. Yeah,
a little bit awkward for him, though. Kaiserklein did manage to sneak in 2 Uhlans that he got for free off the 3 settler wagon shipments, and they've already killed a villager, so Kaiser going to be really quite pleased with that. They snuck in through the unfinished wall there that still needs to be completed, and did quite a lot of damage to a second villager as well. Didn't kill it, but being really, really pesky with these 2 Uhlans there. I don't think he's going to be able to get much more units inside the base. It was just, that early 2 Uhlans were able to find their way inside, and now just going to siege down that shrine at the back. I don't think that Uhlans going to be able to escape because he's going to close the wall off. Yeah, that now being built there. But Kaiserklein already on up to the Fortress Age, going up with the exiled prince. No intention of staying colonial, no intention of being aggressive against these walls. Let's just get to the meat of it, where Germany's strong. And with 2 trading posts, I think he's going to have a very strong timing for Japan to deal with.
Yeah, and getting this Ulan into the base as well is pretty big for him, just because he gets a lot of information on what Kynesie's doing behind this wall. He saw the racks going up a little bit slowly. He's not going to kill this Vill because it has no HP, but he also spotted that there's no wonder going down just yet, but there's a lot of villagers on gold, and with the barracks there and all those villagers on gold, that means it's most likely that he's going to be going for an Asia instead of any kind of colonial timing or anything like that. So he's just confirmed that that's the case, which maybe gives him a little bit more freedom with this forward base that he's built here, and maybe going for like 1,000 wood or something like that if that's something he wants to do.
Yeah, just get super set up. Make sure you get the massively good villager second treasure in. We'll see if that is something he decides to do. I have a feeling it might be, because he's investing quite a lot of wood into a forward outpost here, so he might be low on wood. However, having said that, maybe his intention is to be super aggressive now that he is up to the Fortress Age and just spam unit shipments out of this sort of tower there. What do you think of the tower?
I think the tower is pretty good here when you really want the tempo from those shipments. So I expect unit shipments to be coming there for sure. But yeah, it's a little bit underrated, I think, for that forward shipment point, especially when your shipments are as strong as they are with Germany. And in this matchup in particular against Kynesie, when you know he's going to be going for that sort of slower playstyle, that tempo can really mean a lot. And yeah, here's the 8 skirms going to be coming from there.
Yeah, and the pressure just going to be on top of Kynesie immediately. Not going to bother with the 1,000 wood, just going to make a forward outpost, chop the wood he needs to build houses. Going to be kind of awkward since he's now popped and are going to have villagers on wood, which is a bit slower. But coming in so fast, look, these walls going to get torn down. Uhlans have surprisingly high siege for... Actually, they don't. I thought there'd be... Well, it's probably more than a hussar. But yeah, skirmishers already here shooting at these Yumi Archer. And behind this... more walls going up, classic Kynesie style, but just going to ignore the walls here and instead go for the juicy buildings, take down that barracks there. Uhlans sieging whilst the skirms are shooting overhead.
And as a result of that tower, this pressure is coming about 15 to 20 seconds faster than it otherwise would have if those skirms had to walk from the town center. So just imagine if Kynesie had another 20 seconds or whatever. He'd be almost up, he'd have some Yumis out before he could start sieging that wall and stuff like that. It would have just been a lot harder for him to get in here, but he has gotten in here and he's gotten onto the racks, which looks like it's going to go down. He's forcing a lot of villagers to idle a little bit earlier. He's forcing Kynesie to build a lot of walls, and they're going to get through this wall. There's no finish on that, so these Yumi a little bit exposed now.
Yeah. Is he going to place...
And these villagers as well in the back here.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he'll place like a wall or a house or something just to stop the Uhlans from getting on top of his Yumi there. Could build a gate and go through that, but actually just going to declare GG straight away there. Kaiserklein, no messing around, just knows, I'm not going to bother. I know what you'll do. You'll just build walls. I'm not going to spend any time messing around in the colonial age, and instead I will just go straight up to fortress, build a forward tower, and be super aggressive with that timing there where I'm actually strong and have, follow-up shipments. 7 skirms coming behind this, and Kynesie, the walls don't hold. The Uhlans find their way in and are just going to tear through these Yumi Archer and Besterios there. A very fast game 1, and Kaiser already showing us that he is a contender to go through to the LAN and compete on the stage here at the Escape Studio. A nice performance from Kaiser and a very quick, very clean game 1. Let's take a look at the post-game. You can see the unit shipments coming in, and just absolutely... And here, this would... I mean, he resigned before all the units went down, but this graph, you could imagine it really, really plummeting there. All resources gathered. Germany, a bit further ahead before the Japanese boom can really pay off, really making use of those extra Villi shipments. You get 2 settler wagons and 3 settler wagons really strong. But yes, that's going to be it for game number 1. Let's head on out into the lobby and... take a look at some highlights from that game, if there are any. So either they're still working on it. That game was very, very quick, and we might not have had time to prepare them. But, or there might not be any because it was so quick. But you can see Germany already used up here, and Kaiserklein will no longer be able to play as Germany. It's one of his strongest civs, but I don't think that Kynesie will mind so much, right? He needs to get that out of the way at some point, and it's now gone. So Germany, he's not going to have to handle that anymore. But Kynesie can still continue playing Japan. All right, then.
Looks like he's going to be picking British, actually. And I feel like this makes sense, even though this map is also good for Japan, just because he probably wants to try and get a win with one of his other civs. As we know, like, Portuguese and Japan are, like, his 2 best civs. And if he's able to pick up a win on a map where British is good, which is, like, he's not as good with British with those 2 civs, but they're still a civ he's reasonably comfortable with, then it will just help him win those other games a little bit more easily.
I'll let you take a look at the map whilst I introduce the players. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning on the bottom of the map in the color red, we do have Kaiserklein playing as the French. And yes, a pretty reasonable civ to be playing. We keep saying this, hard to counterpick, and has the 2 scouts there, so going to be able to contest all of the llamas quite effectively. But immediately, looks like not going to be playing Japan. Kynesie switching from Japan. I almost expected him to play it again. It is one of his stronger civs. Going to play British here. And maybe that's fine. They're not a water civ, and it's still a civ that he's probably quite good with. And just play them on this land map where they can be strong. There's lots of hunt here. He's not going to be, under pressure to leave his base anytime soon. Could be a really, really good pick for British. But with his wood, going to start with an early market and a trading post here, as we often see British doing nowadays on Deccan. They're going to gather up that coin and has a food crate there as well, so can get his hunting dogs. But yeah, I really like the British pick from Kynesie.
Yeah, seems like a good pick for sure. We'll see, though, if he's comfortable enough with them on this map to beat Kaiser's French. Kaiser's sort of not got the deepest civ pool either. Germany and French are sort of his best civs. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kaiser was able to pick up a win with French here, even though it's maybe slightly favored for British, arguably. But I don't think Kynesie will be too upset even if he doesn't, just because he'll get those two civs out of the way at least.
Yeah, and then he won't have to deal with Kaiser's two best civs and that sort of semi-FF style that Kaiser is so good at and so strong at. But Kaiserklein off to a really good start, actually. 6 Buffalo immediately, and that's to be expected when you're playing France with those sort of 2 scouts there. In terms of treasures, not found anything just yet. 30 food, but really nor has Kynesie either, just, small coin treasures. I think really just having that scout out on the map and trying to find as many yaks as possible hasn't really bothered treasure collecting or found anything worth going for yet. But it looks like Kynesie will find a couple of units here. He's got 2 yaks, but Kaiser being very, very aggressive with this French explorer. Just they're both on full HP and just going to go straight into hand combat and force the British explorer sort of all the way home. I actually really like this because stopping the explorer from scouting, the British one, it means his scout can continue to go around the map sort of uncontested and hoover up any maybe remaining llamas. I keep calling them llamas, the livestock. If there are any, although he has sort of found them. He's not going to find any, but still really nice. Bringing the villager in.
Maybe more importantly, keeping the explorer locked up here means that he can't scout the plateau where there's now forward villagers. So if he's going to probably stick around here just to make sure that the explorer doesn't walk back into the middle here. No, maybe not. But either way, it is going to mean that if Kynesie does scout this pressure, it's going to be a little bit later than it otherwise could have been. So yeah, I like the decision for that as well, but looks like he might be heading over to the western side of the map here, maybe to grab that 50 wood treasure and maybe start constructing some trading posts over here as well.
Yeah,
I know that having played Kaiser in this matchup in the past, he really likes to go for musket semis with stagecoach and stuff like that, so I'm definitely expecting him to pick up these TPs.
All right, and that'll give him quite a solid eco. But behind this, looks like before he gets to the second age there, this explains the trading post. Kynesie has gone with Virginia Company, so looking to be quite defensive here, and he's spamming sort of manners down. I'd like to see him sort of use them as walls here. This being placed, he's going to have some line of sight as they approach his wall. He'll know where to send his longbowmen and which wall to defend, and even more manners going out sort of on the plateau there for line of sight. But walls coming down, classic Kynesie style here, trying to draw the game out, get to that later game where he's sort of really, really strong. But Virginia Company, Kynesie already showing us that he wants to play Boomy, and I almost sort of... This seems like a very Kynesie thing to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. Want to be as greedy as possible while you wall up and sort of give yourself that little safety net, but at the moment, Kaiser's blocking this wall. It's going to force it to be a little bit more expensive and force another villager to come out. But he might be able to pick up a villager here if he's really good about blocking this wall with that first batch of musketeers. But it'll be close. Looks like Kynesie's just placing all of the walls down.
Look at that. He's moved on to the next wall segment as well. But he is going to close up the original one. So Kynesie, he's not going to be fooled by that. He's going to complete his walls after all there. Musketeers coming in. The wall is finished completing, but trying to buy as much time as he could with that native scout. The mana, it looks like it might not go up. The villager, yeah, going to abandon that. And does get the villager as well, and able to siege it from behind. That mana, it costs, well, not 140 wood because Virginia Company, but it's basically fully constructed, and he's going to be able to destroy all of it. And Kynesie won't get very many resources back at all. So that's a really nice pickup of Vil, and managing to kill a manor before it's constructed there. So these muskets are going to be, have already been really effective. I think Kaiser will be pleased with this start. And to your point,
they're already
the trading
forcing
posts behind as well.
Yeah, they're already forcing another, like, 30 wood of walls to come down behind this as well, and a villager to, like, waste villager seconds constructing that. So it's definitely solid pressure at the moment, but there's a saloon coming down for Kynesie, which, as we know on this map, there are thuggies available, and although they're not the greatest units in terms of, like, their ability to, like, kite and micro, they do insane damage against muskets. I think it's 45 times 2, so they will be one-shotting these musketeers, or two-shotting rather.
Yeah, doing a lot of damage. And behind walls, they could be really strong. I do worry, though, that Kaiser will be able to get through these walls beforehand and actually start shooting at the thuggies with the muskets if he gets into range, because you can't kite very well with them, as you said. Could be a little bit awkward. But let's take a look at units in queue. He is indeed going to be using thuggies.
Yeah, by the way, I really like what Kynesie's done on this side of the map here. While Kaiser's sort of pressuring this left side, he's got all this time to place manors in the middle of the map, gather up some resources here, and sort of preserve the resources back at home, as well as set up a lot of line of sight for later on. He's going to come in and see all the villagers on the gold mine, and the thuggies come out, so he's going to be forced to run, and he's going to lose a lot of
He's being very diligent. Each thuggie targets a separate musketeer, and he's managed to kill quite a number of them, not wasting any of those incredibly long reload animation times, making the most of his damage there, and just going to re-wall behind this. The scout, though, is going to try and block them. He doesn't know exactly where the foundations are, but he probably expects him to try and build it. And, yeah, he can kind of guess. Yeah, he guesses more appropriately now that he sees this wall has gone up. Kaiser being very diligent up, but the Explorer does scout the native man, and both players being very, very diligent, actually.
Yeah, for sure. But Kaiser, behind this, now halfway up to the Fortress Age. Whereas Kynesie is quite a bit further away from Fortress himself. So he's got to be a little bit careful of potentially Falconet pressure coming early in Fortress here. And Brit, if they want to age up behind this, will be quite a bit slower than France, as they don't have that exiled prince politician, that fast age politician. So it will be a little while before and get up. And Kaiser, spotting all these manors and these villagers, might get a pick. Nope, not going to get any villagers here, but he will force them to go on home.
Yeah, but the thuggies, he's got a lot of them now, and they're going to get a ton of damage here. This is, yeah, look at this. Just musketeers falling over. Thuggies are so frightening. God, this is insane. British have skirmishers because of the thuggies and the saloon on Deccan. That makes, it's like they've got this whole extra unit to add to their army now. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're definitely very good in this circumstance, for sure. Kaiser's training cuirassiers sort of as an answer to that now is thuggies with that super long setup animation. If Kaiser gets through that wall, those thuggies are not going to be able to kite much at all, really. So that's sort of going to be his answer here. But yeah, the two Falcons are out. Kynesie's still not quite up. Still gathering the resources to click that age up, so he's still maybe 2 or 3 minutes away from being up. And as a result, there's a pretty big window for Kaiser to come in here and try to punish this boom. But second layer of walls going down behind it in preparation for this. Yeah,
I think Kynesie knows that he needs to buy some time. He knows that 2 Falconets is going to be something that will just batter his walls down. When he's making all of these thuggies, it's just to be expected. And in response, he's going to have to double up his defenses. But let's see what happens. He's got quite a few musketeers there. I noticed he trained an extra batch of 5. And I expect to see the veteran upgrade on these musketeers as well. I really like the decision to make, that colonial age unit, just continue adding a few extra in just to protect these cannons. Getting real close up to those gates now.
Yeah, he wants to make sure that he can siege that with his musketeers as well, without the thuggies coming up to kill them, I guess.
And gonna destroy the saloon, actually. That's really nice. Look at this, more walls going down. Kynesie knows these walls are not going to last long. especially without the Bastion upgrade, and that cannot be researched until he gets to the Fortress Age, and even then, he won't be researching it anytime soon, because you sort of have to defend. Villager does get that wall down, is not going to be executed, but this second wall here could be a real issue to build. Looks like Kaiser are not going to push forward just yet, just going to stand out here, force a reaction from Kynesie, take it slow, and just siege the buildings as he sort of moves forward. Though 5 Hussars coming out could be a little bit dicey. They're coming forward. They're going to try and get into position to destroy the Falconets. They're coming in now, but Kai's a very observant player. Not going to lose Falconets to a bunch of 5 Hussars, but don't blame Kynesie for trying. First barracks goes down. And now Kaiser parked right outside the TC, probably expecting British is aging since he's not seen any reaction to him just yet. Is going to be aging with units. Villagers being targeted now makes absolute sense. 5 Musketeers popping out. Cannons coming to be gotten from behind. Looks like he does manage to get the Hussars on top of the cannons there, but I think he's only going to take one of them out, and for that he's going to trade off 1,000 resources worth of Hussar and those 5 muskets going down as well. 1 cannon still alive, but at least he can use the TC to finish it off, which is what he's doing. He still has Minutemen. Going to be aging up now with 7 Longbowmen, but the Cuirassiers are going to be exceptionally good versus the Longbowmen here. This is looking a bit dicey for Kynesie, but the cannon has gone down now.
Yeah, but it looks like there might just be too many units here, and he's lost a lot of villagers in this push. Batch of Hussars coming out to try and... Well, it's kind of the only thing he can trade, I guess, in transition there. But yeah, I think that's going to be the game, and once again, just another really well-executed timing from Kaiser before Kynesie can really age.
Yeah, Kynesie... against Kaiser here. Kaiser just knows how to exploit the Kynesie style. He's not worried by it. He knows how to play against it. He's very confident playing against it. Whereas I think a lot of players on ladder who are not quite as good as Kaiser will really struggle and flail and will waste a lot of units trying to do things. But Kaiser just so well executed and really, really nicely done, taking down Kynesie a second time here on Deccan. But don't count Kynesie out just yet. Kaiser a very strong player, but as we've been saying, his strongest civs are Germany and France, and those 2 civs are the ones that he's just used. So we'll not have them for the rest of the series, and now maybe Kynesie, with them out the way, can start putting some victories on the board. But up next, let's take a look at the map pool, because we do have some water maps coming up. New England will be our next map here, and that is where Kynesie will shine. We keep saying he's a fish. Out of, I'd said that, I suppose. He's not really a fish, he's a person. But a fish out of water, perhaps, on those last 2 maps. We're now going to see him on his home territory. Baja California, very strategically vetoed by Kaiserklein, not wanting to have to deal with Kynesie on that map. But if Kynesie could do well here, and I hope to see him pick up a victory, but I am a bit worried given that Florida, the next water map, is at the very end of the pool, and I'm not sure Kynesie can get all the way there. If he can, it would be an exceptional series, and he'll do very well on Florida, but being at the end, he's perhaps a little bit disadvantaged. But let's take a look at the highlights of this series, of this last match, and we'll get into this next game very shortly.
At the moment, Kaiser's blocking this wall. It's going to force it to be a little bit more expensive and force another villager to come out. But he might be able to pick up a villager here if he's really good about blocking this wall with that first batch of musketeers. But it'll be close. Looks like Kynesie's just placing all of the walls down.
Look at that. He's moved on to the next wall segment as well. But he is going to close up the original one. So Kynesie, he's not going to be fooled by that. He's going to complete his walls after all there. Musketeers coming in. The wall is finished completing, but trying to buy as much time as he could with that native scout. The manor, it looks like it might not go up. The villager, going to abandon that. And does get the villager as well, and able to siege it from behind. That manor, it costs, not 140 wood because Virginia Company, but it's basically fully constructed, and he's going to be able to destroy all of it. Welcome back, everybody. Just the one clip. These games are very, very short, but it's just like watching that back. Kaiser just is so on point with everything that he does. That native scout, abusing it to the fullest extent, not only to get yaks to begin with, but also just to deny walls and be really annoying and place it down in all these good spots. Took out that villager in the manor house. really nice to see from Kaiser. But looks like we are ready to go into this next game. And Portuguese coming out, Mitoe, to be expected here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 3 in a best-of-7 series between Kaiserklein and Kynesie. The winner of this series will qualify for our LAN tournament here at the Escape Studio in Manchester. That will be happening in July. We'll fly them here, expenses paid, to compete on our stage. The winner will qualify. The loser will go to the lower bracket, where there is still a chance to qualify. But this is a big match for these players. Kaiserklein, 2-0 up, but has now used Germany and France. He cannot play them for the remainder of the series, and we know those are his strongest civilizations. He has now selected British, but we're on the home territory of the Kynesie now. Let's start with him in the south of the map in the color red. Here he is, and I just remembered that we got a $2.24 donation from Alter Harry earlier, so thank you very much. Kaiser Hype, he says. That was 15 minutes ago. Thank you very much for the dono, and Alkheim raiding with a party of 4 viewers. Thank you very much for sending everyone our way. But yes, I'm looking forward to this game, and if there were a map for Kynesie to perform, it would be this one. Very, very strong on the water, and I'm so eager to see what his deck is and just how he intends to play this. But yeah, I think New England, especially with all these ponds where boats can be spawned and quite a considerable number of fish, and a really strategic tactical island that you can put outposts on just to lock down the water control, I'm expecting great things from Kynesie. But yes, here he is in the south of the map, playing in the color red as the Portuguese, and immediately with his scout they're going to pick up 95 wood. A really, really nice start there. Doesn't spot his 2 sheep, but they are safely tucked behind his base, so can get them, I'm sure, at a later point. But let's talk about Kaiser's scouting. Very aggressive scouting here, straight over to his opponent's side of the map. No time wasted, just to contest his opponent's sheep, and contest his opponent's explorer, and indeed steal his opponent's treasures on his side of the map, whilst the ones that are on his own side he can come back to later. I really, really like that from Kaiser.
Yeah, I think also getting the Explorer lower HP is pretty important as well, just in case Kynesie would go for, like, Advanced Trading Post or something. This way it would be a little bit easier to deny. He's going to restrict Kynesie's options in that sense just by getting the extra damage done here. And he has to come scout down here eventually anyway, so why not just follow the Explorer around while he scouts?
Yeah, get it all searched out whilst you can, and taking quite a lot of damage there, but doesn't look like Kynesie wants to put his villagers in the TC. I think Kaiser almost trying to bait him into doing that just to delay his age up and get a bit of an advantage out, but Kynesie, he wants to age up as competitively and as fastly as possible, so he's not going to put any villagers in his TC there. But Kaiser, he's gotten bored of that, and oh no, he's coming behind the base. He's found 40 coin, which is one of Kynesie's sort of free treasures, but those 2 sheep, they're behind the base, and he's going to be able to get them. The question is, can he get them home safely, or do you think he'll delete them? I think if he finds them, he'll give it a go. Oh, that's so close. No, he does see the 1 sheep, and he's going to see the second one as well. Kaiser's going to grab those, and that's not too good news for Kynesie. I don't think he knew those sheep were there, but they were kind of his to get, but now not going to be the case.
By the way, I really like what Kynesie's done now. Having taken so much damage and knowing exactly where Kaiser's Explorer is, he's just like, I'm just going to go as far away from possible and take everything on your side.
Yeah, but he's going to find 2 sheep on... Brilliant. So actually, this has all worked out quite nicely.
Yeah, seems like it. And, Kaiser actually not sending 3 vills, going for Virginia Company straight up. So, going to be playing greedy in kind against Kynesie, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, he probably expects he'll have quite a lot of time to get away with it and to do this, right? Kynesie has and always does build docks, except that one time where he played standard on, what map was it, Manchuria, and surprised everyone against snow and tried to be aggressive, and it was just, it was brilliant to see, but he flailed and it didn't work out. But yeah, if that had been the case this game, I think Kynesie could get away with it, because, you know, Virginia Company, very, very greedy indeed. But Mitoe, you're absolutely right to point out that dock. Looks like Schooners has come down, and the first of many docks has hit the board.
Yep, and I bet you with that first fishing boat, he's going to bring that vill across the water and use that. Well, maybe not the first fishing boat, but he's going to bring that vill across to the pond, surely. Yeah, he is going to do that. So he's going to be building additional docks on that island there, which will be a lot harder for a Kaiser to contest.
Yeah. And yeah, building a dock over here for sure. It just can't. It's not accessible, is it? Unless you have water control yourself to go and get on the land there. Villager does come off, and he's going to start gathering from the trees. And he also has an extra coin mine over here as well, which is going to be really, really helpful. This map, you know, quite low coin, and controlling that island, you do have an extra one available to you. And looks like he's going to place this town center here as well, just to lock down, you know, anti-ship attack of 75 of 40 range. Really, really strong building against boats. And Kynesie fully intending to take the water here. But let's go catch up with what Kaiserklein's doing. He's now age 2, aging with 500 food. Not going to bother with that outpost by the looks of it. Just wants to get more food so that he can keep his vills queued whilst he stays on wood, being very, very greedy so he can build as many manors as possible. Already at 80 manor population there. And I'm sure get up even every time he gets enough wood, he's just going to slam one down, race up to 200 population, and he's going to be able to keep up with the Portuguese for sure doing this. He's going to have a very strong land economy.
This is really smart, by the way, picking up this trading post. I mean, it's going to help out his build as well, but more importantly, it's going to slow down any potential stagecoach later on if Kaiser wants to go for that, which I feel like Kaiser might try to go for that after this Virginia company if his goal is truly just to try and outboom Kynesie, which at the moment it's looking like it is. So that's going to just make it a little bit more difficult for him if Kaiser is not going to be able to train units, not going to be able to get the stagecoach as freely as he'd like. And we'll also give him a little bit more vision on that side of the map if any like hussars or anything try to raid down through the side before he has his walls set up.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense there. And at the moment, I think Kaiser focusing on the manor population, but the stagecoach, certainly something he'll be interested in getting, and for sure that's going to slow it down. But 700 wood from both players, but for different reasons. The 700 wood for Kaiser just going to finish up, yeah, now 190, and that's these two manors here going to put him up to max population there. And for Kynesie, it looks like just to build a second dock and a third dock, and look at how many fishing boats. He's going absolutely crazy here.
Yeah, but that being said, he's not ahead just yet. I mean, rendering plant is coming in, which is going to help quite a bit, but Kaiser keeping up so far in the economic population, just as a result of that manor boom and that 5 settler shipment coming in. And he's got a Ford barracks now. Does he have anything in queue? There's a few pikemen in queue, so maybe going to look to apply a little bit of pressure to this wall, force a bit of a reaction out of Kynesie. Or else just to siege the trading post. One of the two.
Yeah, either or. Pikeman, now that he's got his 200 population, the barracks has come down and he's starting to make military. Seems appropriate, right? You can't boom anymore as the British.
Oh, actually, he's going to go siege the dock, it looks like.
That makes a lot of sense. The trouble with that, though, is the TC...
never mind.
Yeah, those even with 3 villages in there, it's going to be tough. And actually, Kynesie very smartly, Mitoe, placing the TC on the edge of the coast here. The fishing boats can actually be garrisoned in the TC, and they will shoot out at the TC because it will register as villages being inside. So that TC is going to be very dangerous to land units as well.
It's also really easy to wall in this TC with this cliff here and these small choke points. Later on, I guess he could still siege it from the top of that cliff with the pikemen.
But you definitely get fewer units, right? It's not like you can get a good surround on it.
But I don't think Kaiser will be looking to siege the TC or anything like that this early on. But he's actually clicking up to Fortress now.
Okay, so it looks like British going for a very, very strong Fortress Age timing. We don't often see that style of play with British, but against Kynesie here, he's not had to deal with any kind of pressure. Just goes with the greediest boom possible. And he's actually going to have a really insane Fortress Age. He's got a lot of economy here. And Kynesie, he is going to catch up. He's already caught up. He's gotten ahead, in fact, of Kaiser's boom. But Kaiser is going to have a lot of pressure behind this to follow up. Lots of pikemen continuing to harass. Let's take a look at their decks, actually. Kaiserklein here, fairly normal, to be fair. Lots of water potential. Lots of water potential, right? There's not only the 2 Vels and a frigate and the improved warships. Minutemen being called just to deal with some of these pikemen here. Is going to pull, though, these pikes with the larger batch of pikes. They get them to safety. Really nicely done. But forcing Minutemen, that's going to be really good for Kaiser, and he doesn't really care. He's just going to go up somewhere else and harass this trading post on the top. But Kaiser, yeah, he's got 4 privateers in here as well. Very, very strong boat. And, of course, 2 monitors. I think Britain, the only civ in the game that can ship 2 monitors as a shipment, which is going to be exceptional for dealing with Kynesie, right? He can put them on his pond or on the water, and the really super long-range attack, that's going to help him contest what would usually be very difficult to deal with on New England. Those monitors would be very helpful for dealing with this island, but actually Kaiser has already moved his water spawn point, Mitoe. You're pointing that out, perhaps intending to ship boats much sooner than we thought.
Yeah, also, it seems like Kynesie may be being a little bit complacent with his walls as well, because he hasn't really anticipated the possibility of a boat appearing here and bringing his whole army across.
Oh, that's true. Oh my goodness. He aged
So he
with the
maybe
caravel.
thinks he's safer than he actually is.
You're absolutely right. He aged with the caravel and 400 wood with the intention of taking his longbowmen and pikemen to ferry them across.
Water.
Oh no. Big shipment coming in, but not where it needs to be. I mean, this makes sense. He wants to lock down his water control. He expects his opponent to start contesting the ocean where his fish are, and that makes absolute sense. And I think most right-minded players would do that. They would think, oh my goodness, I can't let Kynesie get away with a fish boom. So Kynesie preemptively sending a frigate to deal with that. But, okay, he's broken through the wall, and it looks like the town center has scouted that perhaps that caravel or something like that. He is going to build a wall, actually. Incorporating this natural defensive wall into it as well. He doesn't want anything coming across that pond. Okay, so this seems okay, actually. But the frigate is not going to be doing anything for a while.
Before things get too crazy, we should probably mention as well that Kynesie did pick up the Huron settlement, which has another fishing upgrade for 20% on whales and fish. So his economy is really, really strong behind this.
Oh, wow, it's so cheap as well. Just 75 wood and 75 gold. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it's kind of insane, yeah.
That's really, really strong. Let's take a look at Kynesie's deck as well. We never actually got around to doing it. But, yeah, just nothing that you would see most players sending. I mean, he's got a couple of crates in here, but really it's just stacked with upgrades. And, yeah, classic Kynesie, right? Minutemen are being called from this TC before it goes down. They are very strong units, wants to use them up. And behind this has some Castadors helping fight. But now that the longbowmen and cannons are here, he's not going to want to keep them too close. And it looks like that actually this TC will go down. Not too good for Kynesie, but Portuguese, they get so many TCs, he's probably not super worried about losing one of them. And what it is doing is buying a lot of time for him to get into this game and get his units on the board.
Yeah, definitely. 2 organ guns going to come out now, though, along with 2 from the artillery foundry. One going to instantly go down.
God, this is why organ guns are so rubbish.
This is why organ guns are not good against other cannons.
Yeah,
2 of them going down very easily there.
He didn't have them both sort of, all 4 of them set up at the same time, then they would have stood a chance against the falconets there. I almost wish he'd trained culverins instead, but that is what he's training now, culverins in Q. And he's going to try and take his Castadors and organ guns behind that wall by the looks of it. British now through the wall, and this is looking to be quite tough. Coming forward with his
although
Castador.
with the culverins out now, I think
Nicely
he'll be
done.
just fine.
Yeah.
The presence of those organ guns might just force Kaiser to retreat here, and yeah, he's going to be taking his leave now.
Yeah, he's done enough
And
damage. He
Immediately behind that, he's going to start booming on the stagecoach line now.
Yeah. Try and catch up with it. But, okay, well, I mean, the stagecoach is great, and he has complete control of the land, so for sure going to get it. But Kynesie on 71 villager population, and remember he's got rendering plant and that Huron upgrade behind this, which is 40% fishing. So you think 71 with a 0.4 multiplier? That's a lot of, well, actually, not all of that 73 are fishing boats because he has got villagers mixed in. But the point is he's got a much stronger economy than this represents. And Portuguese, it's not like British pressure has done super too much. He's killed a TC, which is pretty good, but I'm still feeling pretty good for Kynesie right now. And whale oil on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what it's done so far is it's delayed Kynesie from maybe getting up to the industrial age and getting some of those factories and stuff like that. It's also definitely just restricted the amount of space that Kynesie has, and given Kaiser a lot more resources to work with on the sort of northwest side of the map here. And, yeah, 2 trading posts up now, 2 more coming down, and I imagine Stagecoach is on its way, and he's got cannons of his own coming, but I don't know if it's going to be soon enough, as Kynesie is going to be clicking up to industrial any moment now.
Yeah, he's got
with Bastion in as well.
Food. And Bastion, oh, I'm feeling Team Kynesie right now. Look at this. The walls now have 400% more hit points. They are not an easy thing to bring down. They're very, very tanky, 7,500%. It's a very expensive upgrade, but yeah, going to be much harder now for Kaiserklein to bash them down. And with the Industrial Age queued, let's see what he's going up with. I expect to see either the Engineer or the Tycoon. Going to go up with the Viceroy, actually. So that grants... Oh, it's cover in war.
I think Kaiser was going to try maybe to dodge that shot by garrisoning in the caravel at the right moment, but unfortunately didn't quite manage to do that. But he is barely going to win the Culve fight here, which is going to allow him to continue pushing the base here while Kynesie ages up.
Yeah, that's going to be frustrating for Kynesie. Really good artillery control and taking out that organ gun as well. That gate was a little bit awkwardly placed. Those having to path around there. But 2 more organ guns, pardon me, culverins coming out to deflect this. And yeah, does get a shot in though before it dies. Still very good control from Kaiser. This wall only now just going to go down though. But behind this, looks like he's just going to add more walls in. Just a reminder, with the Bastion upgrade in, these walls do take longer to build than the original Palisade ones. Oh, the TC wagon! Oh my god! That's not good.
That's a nice pickup for Kaiser. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue for Kynesie, though. It will make his Vils and Cosine a little bit less safe, but it's not going to be super relevant as he's already almost full boomed, pretty much.
Yeah, but a lot of Vils going down here as well. He's not... Yeah, okay. And he's actually just going to build a town center instead with his Explorer. So that is actually kind of a big deal for him. He's not going to have a free TC just to garrison in and call Minutemen from and all of these things. But does have quite a lot of artillery now, and they're well out of range of the organ gun. Has got walls here, and I think these organ guns will be able to force the longbows away.
Yeah, especially with the presence of the heavy cannons that... Oh, actually, that's huge that the heavy cannons couldn't come to, like, the town center that he just killed, or the free town center that he would have gotten. So they're going to have to walk all the way from here. Going to get spotted by the manors if Kaiser's really paying attention, but they're definitely going to force the British army away, and Kaiser's going to have to think about... Oh,
8 HP.
That Culverin Royale upgrade.
Oh, wow, is that giving it just enough HP to stay alive? But Kaiser does manage to get them both very low. I think Kaiser going to pick it off with the longbows there. In fact, both of them.
Last one's still going to live.
19? But, oh, it does go down.
But I think Kaiser's going to have to think about maybe adapting into
Privateer
Industrial
fleet
himself pretty soon. Oh, that's nice. Going to pick off that frigate very quickly, maybe. 4 broadsides coming out there.
Yeah, that frigate does not stand a chance.
Yeah, this is going to force a big reaction from Kynesie on the water here, and potentially he can kill a lot of fishing boats and stuff in the meantime.
Yeah, and
dropping down a dock himself behind this, but a factory coming out for Kynesie to try and... well, he will be compensating basically for that with that factory.
Yeah, God, I really love this from Kaiser. Just like using these insane boats, right? They're very, very strong. To just grab some presence aggressively on the water, slams down a dock, and then just kind of smash 2 outposts up next to it just to secure the map control. Needs these anti-ship attacks.
Kynesie's distracted by what's going on in the water. He's not noticing the culverin shots coming on his heavy cannons there.
I was distracted too. Has he lost 2 heavy cannons, or is that
just the one? But it could have been more if he didn't notice in time. But it looks like he is going to pick up all those cannons pretty comfortably. I mean, there's 4 more culverins coming out from Kynesie here, but culverins are not going to help now that his artillery is already dead.
Yeah. He was really hoping to kill off his enemy culves with his Culverin Royale upgrade, and then just abuse his 2 heavy cannons to just stop Kaiserklein from coming into his base. All Kaiser has is longbow pike, which are just infantry, and they're going to be absolutely slaughtered by heavy cannons, but now he doesn't have those. Suddenly this land defense has gotten very, very hard. I wonder why Kaiser has committed so much. I guess he's going longbow pike just because longbows have exceptional range, especially with yeomen, and they're very, very capable of taking down artillery and able to finish off, get final blows and things like that on longbowmen. But now pushing forward with 2 frigates that he's trained, or one that he's trained and one that he's upgraded, just going to batter down this dock. A lot of pressure now coming. A lot of canoes there have been trained.
Yeah, I mean, that's the advantage of having built that native TP earlier in the game as well. If he tried to build it right now, there's no way he would have got it up,
caravels
right?
coming in. But improved warships coming in just in time for Kaiserklein as well, so his warship's going to get a nice boost. But with all these canoes and the 3 caravels, it looks like he's going to be able to push Kaiser back for the time being whilst he waits for his carronade upgrades to come in, or armor plating, as well as the broadsides to recharge. But going to use this brief respite to replace his docks here. Remember, he can garrison canoes and fishing boats in them, and that's going to give him a lot of anti-ship there. And I'd half expect to see outposts being thrown down. Look at all these walls, houses on the island there. Really nice play from Kynesie, just to keep all of his buildings really, really safe and out of the way. But what a paradise place to live.
That makes it doubly important that he defends this location, because losing all of those houses would hurt him quite a bit. But behind this, Kaiser is looking to maybe start going up to industrial now. He's also like sort of joined up with his fleet here, with the culverins on the coast and stuff like that, to start taking out these docks and these boats. And he's looking to be in a really strong position. Even just look at the scores. He's up 60 score at this point. Yeah. He's got a second town center finally going down on the coastline up here. And yeah, he's just looking to be in a good spot overall.
Just securing the coast with TCs and outposts. There's no way. If Kynesie pushes back, he's going to need land presence to deal with these buildings here. It's going to be so hard now. And the culverins are going to be so effective against the boats as well. And they've even got heated shot from the arsenal to do even more damage versus boats. So
yeah, that's Kynesie, really smart.
He's really losing a lot of ground on the water here. These canoes very, very strong.
A lot of canoes, yeah.
There are a lot of canoes, but look how many actual navy ships there are. I don't think the canoes will be able to keep up.
The other important thing is Kynesie investing so heavily in defending the water that he's got nothing left on land. Look at the military unit population. He's down 70 population.
And no wood in his base either. He's sort of gathered it all out, though has another mango grove, so to speak, that he can chop. Back to the water.
Yeah, but this is looking like it's approaching the point where it could be over even.
Yeah, it looks
like none of these fishing boats are gathering. They're just garrisoned for defense in these docks. So the economic population is a lot more in favor of it than it is, although there's a monitor taking out some of these culverins and trading posts. But yeah, Kaiser is sort of beating Kynesie at his own game on the water here a little bit.
I really love. Look at this, and even Kynesie. Look at Kaiserklein bringing his culverins onto the land. Looks like the Vils are just frantically trying to bash them down. But this is the advantage of having outposts on this island. That you have all this water control, but the culverins are now here to do damage, but I think those Vils are actually going to be able to bash them down. I don't think Kaiser took that into account, but does deliver 50 longbowmen onto the island as well to defend it here, and looks like Kynesie going to lose control of all of his housing. This is not ideal for him at all. I really love Kaiser's choice to play British here. They just have such good naval shipments. That's exactly what you need. 4 privateers arriving.
Boat.
Yeah, forced into the corner. That's going to go down there. I mean, 4 privateers arriving all at once is just such a large number of units. But another monitor is called. He's going to use a special attack on the culverin. It gives you such a big water presence all of a sudden, and you catch Kynesie totally off guard with the privateers, and behind it, just so important to get docks and outposts down. It's exactly what he did. Kaiser performing very well today.
Yeah, this was some really, really clean play from him so far in this series. And I think this is going to be an unexpected result on this map as well, because people don't really consider Kaiser to be the best player on water or against water, and Kynesie, of course, is sort of considered the best player on water. And Kaiser just doing very, very well here. And I honestly don't see how Kynesie could maybe win from this position. He's sort of taking maybe back control on the land with this monitor and rebuilding some town centers, as well as maybe looking to take this trading post for himself, but losing the water, which he's invested so many of these upgrades into, is really, really painful. And Kaiser could even potentially think about taking the water himself with some fishing boats.
Hot damn. This is absolutely bananas. But let's take a look at, eco unit population, right? All this time, Kynesie has still been maintaining a slight lead. But I think with the fishing boats, they're going to be pushed off the water very soon, and all these houses going down, that economy going to be very, very hard-pressed.
The outlaws on this island as well getting aggroed by that ship there, so going to apply a little bit of extra damage there.
Yeah, I guess the area damage attacked them. New subscriber, Periwentos, coming in. That's what the Iroquois say, Periwentos, I believe.
I think that's right.
Yeah, thank you very much for the subscription. Gonna have to reset those Guardians by retreating away from them. Thankfully, they don't have all that much damage, doing all that much damage to the boats, but certainly going to be annoying. But the pikes on this island just cleaning these houses up.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit painful for Kynesie to have to rebuild, especially if he wants to be trading warships at the same time to hold on to what little water presence he has left.
Oh my god, look at Kaiser's got like no food income. He's just built a mill. All his resources have been on food and gold this whole time just to build boats. He's not built a single unit on food. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's true. But what was I going to say? Going to say something a moment ago, but it's gone.
My apologies.
Oh, he's finally going up to industrial behind this with 2 shipments ready, so potentially 3 rockets to apply some more pressure on land once he's cleaned up the water here, as well as some factories going to be coming behind this. Also, even dropping down some towers on the island here, just to make sure that he really secures this, because Kynesie's late-game economy is really reliant on these fishing boats, and denying it is definitely going to hurt him. So just being really diligent about that. But there's a lot of warships out for Kynesie now, even starting to train some galleons.
Yeah, I get he's trained he's trained both everything else. Or maybe the galleons to tank if it's just out in front. That's it's kind of clever actually, and it can train military units as well. Maybe he's going to try and reclaim the land by building units on the side here to get back there. But oh dear, the outlaws are getting angry again, and
they're on the British side.
Yeah, they are. Well, they had privateers earlier. It makes only sense that the outlaws want to defend with their pirate brethren. But yeah, trying to throw down as many outposts as he can here, and it looks like Kynesie trying to shoot them down.
Yeah, I don't know if Kaiser has enough here to hold. He's invested a little bit in fishing boats himself as well behind this, so it's he doesn't really want to lose the water at this point after investing so heavily into contesting it.
Look at the pikes sieging that boat.
Yeah, they do quite a bit of decent damage to it.
This is insane. Like, how often do you see this kind of nonsense? This is wonderful.
Yeah, almost never. Almost never do both players go full Navy with full upgrades and start, like, investing literally everything they have into fighting over an island like this. But, I mean, on the land, it sort of allowed Kynesie to sort of get back into it. He's almost... let me see how many villagers he has. He's up to 84 vills, so he's going to be fully boomed on the land. And if they sort of just, like, break even on the water here, that'll be a good outcome for Kynesie, I think.
Yeah, Kynesie. Oh, this monitor. Oh, yeah, it does go down. Not going to get the repair, but Kynesie's still aggressively pushing back on the water, placing outposts on the land there. He's lost control of the island, but and Kaiser really trying to lock that down. He's got a couple of outposts and now upgrading to frontier outpost as well, just for the extra attack. There will be no extra hit points, but will be much stronger outposts.
Team Coastal Defenses is in now as well, so it's going to be doubly difficult for Kaiser to continue pushing on the water there. Yeah. As if you don't know, every building ends up with a extra multiplier against warships. So this dock's doing double damage, the outpost does double damage, everything does double damage now.
Yeah.
And, those outposts Kaiser are building are not super effective against monitors, apparently. Just getting absolutely one-shot there.
Yeah, the monitors, like every time the ability recharge, this boat just decides to just one-bang them. But it's a big broadside coming in from multiple boats there. Looks like that boat trying to get back. If he can get it home, he can repair it. Looks like it's going to get away with 100 HP and sail to safety. But now pushing him with galleons, which have incredible resistance to boat shots and fire from frontier outposts and things like that. These boats not going to take too much damage. God, very even economic unit population now. Let's take a look at upgrades. Kynesie now getting artificial fertilizer in there. Doesn't have any plantation upgrades in just yet.
With that monitor on the land, Kainesie's actually taken control of the stagecoach.
Oh wow, that monitor in the pond is performing, and that's really good, especially on this map with such low coin. Right, you can for the late game have another coin income source.
Yeah, Kynesie's really sort of traded his water advantage for an advantage on land. So things are starting to look a little bit better for Kynesie now that Kaiser didn't just completely overrun him on the water there. And Kaiser going to be setting up for the late game, finally adding some walls himself, doesn't want to have to deal with maybe some big Jeanette raids coming in the future.
Yeah.
So, it's really anyone's game right now.
It really is, right? I mean, Kaiser is, I think, better economically set up. He's got homesteading in and artificial fertilizer. He's even got circular saw and refrigeration on top of that as well. So he's got very good upgrades.
Kynesie's close to being able to click up to Imperial, though.
Oh, wow.
Which could be a big problem for Kaiser if he doesn't apply some pressure on land soon, which it looks like he's planning on doing with these mortars and these Hussars. But I think that might be more just for the trading posts and to deal with this pesky monitor than it is anything else. And I think Kynesie is planning to go up to Imperial behind this. He's getting some really good trades on the water now that he's sort of finally managed to get up a decent navy with these 3 galleons sort of helping out and killing off all these outposts. And he's going to be potentially pretty far ahead economically once he gets those Imperial upgrades in.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. He's now clicked up to the Imperial Age, actually. Let's go to text being researched. Going up with El Presidente for 2,000 gold. And economic theory coming in as well. I was talking about refrigeration being in for Kaiser, which is really good. But eco theory, I think, even better than that. And he hasn't built a single plantation yet because he doesn't need to. He's still got gold, so he's still going to be gathering from really efficient and going to have those insane upgrades very soon as well.
Yeah, let's not forget, though, that British has a 2-monitor card that could potentially go down in this pond, which could apply a lot of pressure onto Kynesie along with these mortars.
Low HP boat. The mortars are going to end up taking that down by the looks of it. They're creeping in there. And I don't think that Portuguese is aging, though, to Imperial, so he'll be able to send 3 caravels and a frigate again, and so might be able to reclaim the ponds if we do see monitors being shipped here. So Imperial Age going to be really helpful for that, but he's not going to have a shipment available for quite a while, and it looks like he knows that these mortars, they're going to take down that dock there, really try and deny Kynesie on this pond. Proxy stable from Kynesie. Oh, wow, this is blocking the wall, and if he just streams Hussars in...
And Kaiser hasn't noticed yet. He's too distracted with fighting on the water and on the land at the same time, so he could take a lot of economic damage here if Kynesie's on top of things. And he's got Hussars and Q at that stable, so things could get a little bit risky for Kaiser here as Kynesie hits up to Imperial and is going to be soon distracting him inside the base. He's finally noticed. He's dropping down some walls, some pretty inefficient walls that are going to take a long time to build, though, and going to get denied by one of those Hussars, but not the greatest batch of units from Kynesie here, so really not going to be too scary overall.
No, just 2 Hussars with no upgrades, although veterancy coming in. Just getting the lay of the land with this Hussar, just making sure he can scout. I think he's looking for the factories. Those are the things that he wants to try and take out, and just making sure that he knows what is available in base. But yeah, monitors have arrived, or once been trained from the dock of Kaiserklein here, but with these 2 town centers and their extra times damage multiplier versus the boats, 3 town centers on this pond.
It doesn't seem like it's going to be super effective.
Just getting slaughtered. Yeah.
And that's just 1,000 resources down the drain there, which is every little resource is important when you're behind in Imperial tech. So Kaiser's really going to need everything he can get to either get himself up to Imperial or somehow get something going on the land here to punish this age up.
Kynesie's fine. There was a moment earlier where we really were quite worried for him. And look, the Hussars coming all the way home here. And a sneaky dock from Kynesie as well. 2 frigates in this pond. And Kaiser just does not have that same setup. You know, Kynesie has 1, 2, 3 town centers, all with 2.5 times damage versus any boats that might spawn here. Kaiser does not have that, and these boats will be very hard to deal with unless he specifically trains mortars or culverins or something like that. But looks like we do see 2 monitors being shipped to the pond, and this is a big timing for him because he's already maxed out, I think, 2 monitors. He's trained... Has he trained 2 monitors? Actually, maybe he hasn't, but either way, there's a lot of boats coming in, and he's just going to try and push on the water here. But it's so hard against these docks and all these outposts.
Yeah, it looks like this might not go very well for him, though. There's not much in the way of warships here for Kynesie. But yeah, Kaiser, just seeing how quickly his boats are getting destroyed by those buildings there, going to quickly make his way on out of there. But Kaiser, he's kind of invested all of his upgrades into these Hussars. At this point, he's making a lot of Hussars, but there's Imperial Jeannettes out for Kynesie now, and Kaiser doesn't have the resources to age, and it's looking like Kynesie just adapted really well after this pressure, and is looking to maybe be in a good spot, although there's some Culverin Royale, or not yet Culverin Royale, but soon to be, out now on this pond here, so he's going to manage to clean up the boats, it looks like, and sort of get him off of his pond.
Yeah, but we're going to see Caravel shipped into this pond as soon as the shipment becomes available.
Yeah, and at this point, with the water being pushed by Kynesie now, and potentially going to be getting these whales back, with these Imperial upgrades behind this on his economy and on these genetic Dragoons, I think that's, yeah, going to be GG there.
GG.
And that was a really, really nice game. I think this is the highlight game for me of the tournament so far.
Yeah. That was exceptional. I could swear Kaiser had it. It looked so clean. It looked so clean. Just 20 manas, just taking full advantage of the fact that Kynesie does what he does. Just dumping as many manas down as possible, getting to so many villages, shipping the privateers and put that big push on the water, taking Kynesie off guard. And but Kynesie just performs so well, and I think he retains his title as strongest water player, and that's what we expect from Kynesie. A very, very strong showing here, and Kynesie, very, very strong player. The only trouble is there's not too many water maps in this tournament for him to compete at this level on, but a very well-deserved victory from him there.
Yeah, for sure, but a very, very close game nonetheless. Like, that could have gone either way at almost any point, aside from maybe the last 4 or 5 minutes of that game.
I'm astounded. That was amazing. Let's take a look at all population, all resources gathered, rather. Very, very even. Very, very even. And I thought that Kaiser would be ahead early on with his big... actually, that is the case. You can see he is a bit ahead down there, but with those 40% upgrades to fishing, Kynesie just ahead. But Kaiser does deal with the fishing. Just such an even game there. I think really what won it was finally getting Imperial Age, and it's just, you cannot keep up with that. Alright then. Let's head on out into the lobby, and we'll take a look at the civilization selection screen there. Portuguese now gone for Kynesie. He cannot play that anymore. One of his stronger water civs, but that's okay because that might well be the last water map he gets to play. The next one is Florida at the end there, which could be really tough for him to get to. This fish out of water on Thar Desert and High Plains. Not a drop of water there, and indeed on Pampas Sierras as well. But we shall have to see. Still got Japan, which is a very strong civ for Kynesie. But let's take a look at the highlights before we discuss the civilization picks.
2 organ guns going to come out now, though, along with 2 from the artillery foundry. 1 going to instantly go down.
God, this is why organ guns are so rubbish.
This is why organ guns are not good against other cannons.
Oh, the TC wagon! Oh my god! That's not good.
That's 4 broadsides coming out there.
Yeah, that frigate does not stand a chance.
Yeah, this is going to force a big reaction from Kynesie on the water here, and potentially he can kill a lot of fishing boats and stuff in the meantime.
Yeah, and using
dropping
this
down a dock himself.
Sense that the outlaws want to defend, defend with their pirate brethren, but yeah, trying to throw down as many outposts as he can here, and it looks like Kynesie trying to shoot them down.
Yeah, I don't know if Kaiser has enough here to hold.
In the lobby. Hello everybody. I'm back. I just took that opportunity whilst the highlights were rolling to take a quick bathroom break. Looks like Kaiserklein, he is selecting British here. That was his previous civilization. And he gets the counter pick. Looks like Kaiserklein just going to go check his deck before he comes back here. Pardon me, Kynesie, not Kaiserklein. And we'll find out what civilization he gets to pick. It is the Thar Desert, and I really am worried for Kynesie here. This is a very open map and a very aggressive map, and neither of those things Kynesie will be pleased about. I think this could be quite difficult for him. He prefers these much more closed maps like Deccan and Kamchatka. Here I wonder how he will perform. But gonna pick Japan, which I think is is a very strong civilization for him. So we'll see a good showing, but it's going to be scary. Kaiserklein, whatever he picks, is going to be aggressive, and he's going to do it very, very well. But looks like Japan locked. Let's get that confirmation from Kynesie, and then we'll see what Kaiserklein takes in response. This, I don't know what I was going to say. Looks like Kaiser's going to take Russia, by the looks of it, Mitoe.
Sorry. Yeah, it looks like it is going to be Russia, which is traditionally a very good pick against Japan. So, not surprised with that pick. However, it can be a little bit more difficult maybe against Kynesie. Just because Kynesie is maybe so well versed in making sure that that wall is really complete, like none of those Strelets or Cossacks are going to be getting underneath the town center super early. But we'll see.
We shall. Looks like now Kaiser, he's seen the matchup. He knows that it will be Russia versus Japan, and he now gets to take a look at his deck. Just make sure he's got all the right cards in there, and as a result, it looks like Kynesie will have to host for us. So we'll get back into the lobby in just a moment. Let's take a look at the civilization selection screen, I suppose, whilst we wait. How do you feel about the upcoming maps? I mean, if Kynesie loses here, it will be match point to Kaiser, and he might do, although we'll see. Kynesie's still very strong, and it's not like he's up against Germany or France like we saw earlier. Kaiser's much stronger civs. I think Japan versus Russia, Kynesie will be perhaps better at dealing with, and not going to have to deal with that semi-FF style that Kaiser's so good at executing. If he gets past the Thar Desert, Mitoe, how do you feel about the upcoming maps? Obviously, Florida is going to be very strong for Kynesie if he can get there, but High Plains and Pampas Sierras, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I feel like those are definitely good maps for Kaiser here. High Plains especially. is I feel dangerous for Kynesie, just because Kynesie he just prefers that defensive style. And on high planes, you can't really play defensively because your opponent's just going to take 5 TP Stagecoach and like 70 Bison Hunts, and it'll be really hard to deal with. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like Kynesie's sort of has to win here.
Yeah, he definitely needs to keep this momentum going. Just the one victory on the board. And we kind of expected that, being New England, being that water map.
Join the game.
But let's get into this. It will be the Thar Desert. Let's see how he performs with Japan versus Russia. What do you think of the matchup more generally, then? Do you think there's much truth to, Kaiser being strong as a semi-fast fortress player, France and Germany are strong civs, but I still think Kaiser very comfortable with Russia, and I think this could still be tough for Kynesie.
Yeah, I think if you were to pick a third best civ for Kaiser, it's definitely Russia, and he's pretty well versed in all sorts of different ways to play them, so I don't think he'll be too uncomfortable with this matchup, but I think that if anyone is going to defend Russia with Japan, it's probably going to be Kynesie.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the chat there. People seem quite confident that actually Kynesie will be able to handle Russia on this map. So let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 4 in a best-of-7 series between Kaiserklein and Kynesie. The winner will qualify for the LAN here at the Escape Studio and will be playing on the main stage in July. The score is currently 2-1 to Kaiserklein. Kaiserklein picking up 2 victories in a row, but Kynesie bringing it back on New England. Let's start with Kaiserklein in the south of the map in the color blue. Here he is again playing as the Russians. Looks like it's a wood start there, so could see a market from him if he so desires, especially with that 55 coin treasure in base there. Just going to crack shot that immediately, and you can come back and pick it up later. Wants to get out on the map there, but at least his crack shot ability is recharging. Going to start scouting for treasures absolutely immediately. His opponent, Kynesie, here in the north of the map, playing as his signature civilization, something he's very, very strong with, Japan. This is quite an open map, but I'm sure we'll still see walls, and I'm sure we'll still see him trying to close it off. Such is the way of things with Kynesie there. But going to be much easier this time to get the consulate down. In that previous game where he played Japan, it was a coin start, and that makes the consulate a bit tougher to get. So here, going to be quite pleased about that. But out on the map here, the Explorer has already found one of the monks and is going to make it quite difficult for Shrining to go down from... well, I guess he's got another monk, so actually it's fine. But either way, this is really annoying.
Sorry, I missed what you said. I was busy dying.
At least you're alive. Yeah, the scouts found the Explorer and just doing a lot of damage to it.
Yeah, and that's going to be nice for him because he's going to deny some more scouting time. Potentially be able to finish off that Explorer maybe later in transition while he's building shrines or something. But going to prioritize maybe contesting this treasure over getting some additional damage there.
Oh, I don't think he's in range of that treasure. That's really awkward.
No, it's just going to have to reset, and that's going to be good for Kaiser here. Although at the moment the Panther seems... Okay, there we go. So it does reset. And that's going to make this hard for Kynesie to contest, as he's going to be forced to run away because the Russian Explorer is so much stronger, and then he can just crackshot that and pick that up. And that's going to be really nice for Kaiser as well, just because Russia has a hard time sort of getting that 14 Vil Idolus age up in, and that's just going to make that a little bit easier.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the story of how succulent eggplants were discovered. The Japanese almost discovered them, but at the last moment, the cheeky Russians came in and took it.
They took all the credit.
That's right, that's how that works. It's really flavorful, actually, Age of Empires 3 and treasures and stuff like that. But, okay, let's take a look at Age 1 so far. Kaiserklein, 60 food, 55 coin. Really, really nice. And Kynesie only finding the 20 coin there, though, may have an opportunity to pick up. Certainly not this. what is this other treasure on the bottom there? 90 wood, and Russia hasn't scouted this yet. You can see, not got any of this black map discovered, so is going to be able to take this without Russia knowing that it's being taken, and Kaiserklein in the dark about that at the moment, but he does seem to be heading in this direction, but looks like he won't go there, so that's going to even up the age 1 quite nicely for Japan, and he's going to be really pleased that he finally found something of value. We'll be able to get down shrines with that wood, and I'll be quite pleased. But let's switch on over to shipments sent, and Kaiserklein sending distributivism to be expected there, has now just gotten his age up in queue, and 2 villagers immediately being sent forward. Oh no, they're just going to the trees. I thought perhaps we were going to see forward villages. I'm sure we still will. We'll keep an eye on that. But yes, has now aged up. Kynesie, in the previous game, we saw him go Heavenly Kami, but that will not be a good idea on this map. So instead, going to send 300 wood, which is going to help him build shrines. And it's still kind of boomy, but it's not super, super greedy like Heavenly Kami would be there. But still going to get Portuguese Consulate and the Toshogu Shrine here. Still will be intending to shrine the map up, but this is a small, aggressive map, and 300 wood seems appropriate for it.
Yeah, it's just going to help him get his boom going a little bit harder. And then, since you can't continue booming once you hit Colonial, because you're going to need units to defend, he'll just have a slightly better economy than he would otherwise. That being said, though, these 2 shrine placements, also really, really nice from him. Going to be sort of denying that 3rd hunt to Kaiser a little bit, unless he wants to devote units to sieging that down, which would put them very far away from Kainesie's base. So that's also going to be nice for him later on in the game.
Walls now going down, and we expected this, though, didn't we, really? He's going to try and wall off this entire map, and even using the gold mine as sort of part of his wall there, which is kind of nice for him. But, yeah, looking to turtle up, classic Kynesie style. Kaiser now up to the colonial age, though. Forward blockhouse is coming down. It's nearly constructed there. Let's switch on over to units in queue, and I'm sure we'll no doubt see... This is a little bit awkward, right? Because if you want to send your first military shipment, you kind of have to have your 5 musks in queue first. So do you think he's going to start with, say, 700 wood or something?
Blocking the thing at the moment. No, he's definitely got 5 Cossacks on the way. Just looking at the population, 10 Strelets now in queue as well. The Explorer did actually quite a bit of extra damage onto this wall, but with the 2nd layer there, it's actually not going to be super relevant. Although he did manage to block another one. And there's a barracks going down for Kynesie behind this. Take a look at what he's sending. 600 wood on the way for him. So I think Kaiser might be able to just get through this wall early on if. Yeah. Kynesie doesn't start rebuilding it, which I imagine he will.
Although he's standing exactly where he needs to with the Explorer to stop a 2nd wall going down.
Well, I mean, he could build it elsewhere. Yeah. But there's also no resources available for Minutemen for Kynesie, unless he wants to maybe sell some wood or something, which is obviously pretty painful to have to do.
Is he going to get that wall down? The Strelets, they've not quite got very good range, and
if he gets into position here, why is that wall is going up so slowly? It feels like.
Yeah, that was very, very slow, wasn't it? Actually, not going to get that wall up at all, and that's going to be denied. Could be kind of awkward now. The units of there's a gap between the barracks and the TC. 5 Ashigaris do pop out though, but there are plenty of Strelets.
No resources for Minutemen. There's 4 Yumi in queue, but honestly, it's already looking really bad. For Kynesie, these Yumi's going to get immediately taken out by these 2 Cossacks here. All the Ashi get cleaned up, and Kynesie's going to be sitting in his town center for a while, it looks like. Got a couple of villagers that are exposed as well, going to be trying to run those away through this gate, go gather resources elsewhere, maybe rebuild that barracks somewhere, or it looks like in this case drop down a couple of shrines on these elephants. But this is kind of like the problem with this matchup is if Russia does get into your base, they can just sit under your town center and idle you forever with these Strelets. And you don't have any cav shipments. You can't really make a stable at the beginning because it's really hard to produce units. And so there's not really going to be much to deal with these Strelets for a long time.
Yeah, Strelets really kind of tanky when you're having to have 10 villagers or more in your TC, because you take a shot at one, but you don't kill it in a single hit. And it does so much damage, right? 9 HP left, and then it has to take a whole nother shot to die. So they've got like these like ghost hit points that aren't really existing. And yeah, just staying under the TC forever whilst he floods Strelets into the base. These villages are never going to get back to work.
Yeah, I feel like Kynesie's got another shipment on the way. I feel like it almost has to be enlist irregulars if he wants to ever have a chance of getting out of his town center. But we'll see, though. I mean, he's been focusing down the... Okay, yeah, there it is. It is enlist irregulars. And that's going to change the town center fire to one-shotting those Strelets instead of two-shotting them, which might force Kaiser to back off in a little while here.
Ryumi.
Yeah. It looks like he's going to commit to taking down the barracks for the most part.
And tries to take down that Cossack so that the Yumi can get away there. Really nice redirecting the TC fire.
Mm-hmm.
But the Strelet's just going to chase the Yumi down. Even has the snare with the Explorer. Really, really nice. And they're not going to be able to abuse their range or get behind walls or anything. They're going to quickly be taken down by Kaiser.
Kynesie hasn't really overreacted.
Does finish the wall, though. Look at this.
Yeah, and going to save the Vil, too. And Kynesie hasn't really overreacted to this pressure at this point either. Like, look at how many shrines he has on the map. He's up to 160 shrine pops, so he's still got a fairly respectable economy once he does manage to clean up these few remaining Strelets underneath this town center. And he might manage to actually even save the barracks as well. Looks like he will actually be able to.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be good for Kynesie, but at the same time, Kaiser has sort of accomplished more than maybe he had hoped to accomplish with this early pressure. And so his villager population is not suffering too badly either. And it's not like he shipped more units into this push either. He sent 700 wood and 700 gold. So he's got his market upgrades. He's got infrastructure down. He's still sort of applying pressure behind this. And he'll be able to send those unit shipments later for some solid timings. And looks like he is actually going to manage to clean up that barracks as there is that little hole in the wall.
Yeah, they do go down. That's going to be frustrating. Yeah, so he's still gathering, and remember, behind this, these shrines are quite efficient. The Toshogu shrine's still up, and he's, as you said, got a lot of shrines. So it's not like he's not gathering, and the TC, although the village, now there's only 10 villages in there, the TC's very, very efficient with this double damage. Those 10 vills that are idle,
yeah,
they are worthwhile being inside.
He has to remember that he did actually move those villagers and not task them to anything, so they are still idle for the moment. Hopefully he'll remember to fix that soon, but he's rebuilt the wall. There's a pair of Cossacks in here. There's a 5 Ashigaru shipment to defend that, and a barracks and a stable both going down behind this now. And Russia now sort of shifting gears a little bit, gonna switch his focus to cleaning up some shrines for damage instead of idling that town center. And 700 food gonna come in. Looks like that's gonna be for an age up, actually.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to age up. You're right. He's got tons of coin villages and not that much food. The 700 food will finish it off. That's really, really nice. I like that he's starting with the shrines in his base because those are basically clogging up his next hunt, so he needs to finish them first. Yeah, look at this, mining gold whilst he's waiting for this shrine to be destroyed there. But yeah, he's done a lot of damage. And I think Kaiser will be really pleased with what he achieved in the colonial age, but has now decided that it's time to eventually get to the fortress age here, and he's going to be aging up.
A couple of vills might go down here.
Yeah, Ashigaru Musketeers coming out on the map there is... Yeah, they've got the speed, so they should be able to catch up there. The Cossacks...
Yeah, the Cossacks going to try to snare them a little bit to try and prevent them from really chasing those down. Yeah. But has to be a little bit careful here. I wonder if the monk could just Divine Strike it. I'm not going to go for it.
Divine Strike the villager.
But anyway, he is going up to the Fortress Age. What is he going up with? It looks like it's probably the Exiled Prince. Yeah, it is. So no surprise there. And a second blockhouse going up on these elephants and gold mine on the right side of the map. And I don't think Kynesie is... Well, actually, it looks like he is maybe expecting the age up. Going to be dropping down a second layer of walls while he feels like he has time and going to get those Bastieros out to help him get away with this, but he's going to be aging. He's going to be aging up himself. Sorry.
Yeah, and Kynesie still very much in this. He's got plenty of villagers on food. The shrines can be tasked to food now, and that 600 gold going to allow him to get that age up in queue. So let's see which wonder he drops.
That being said, though, it is still going to be a long time before he's actually up to Fortress. It is going to be the Golden Pavilion, which will give him those 6 Yumi archers upon age up. But with looks like 7 villagers going onto that wonder. It's going to take him probably until like 11:10-ish, or sorry, 13:10-ish into the game until he's up. And with the 2 Falk shipment already on the way for Kaiser, that could potentially mean that there's a lot of pressure coming in that window there.
And he's got veteran musketeers in here as well. Let's switch on over to units in queue. Musketeers are going to be complementing those falconets very nicely, and Oprishniks as well, which are going to be really, really helpful for just sieging down stuff. He's got 5 of them in queue. Falconets have now arrived, and it looks like he's moving in now with them to knock on Kynesie's door. This wall is mostly up. It's kind of up.
He's going to focus the Vil? He's going to get the Vil, I think. Yeah, there we go. So do you focus the Wonder here or the walls? It looks like you focus the Wonder here. And that's going to be really difficult for Kynesie to defend as he ages up, as he's not going to have anything that can match the range. And losing that Wonder is going to mean that all of his shrines are weaker, in addition to just losing that 0.9 wood per second that he's already getting from that Wonder. So that's going to be a nice pickup for Kaiser for sure. And yeah, those Oprishniks now just starting to work on the shrines around the map.
Oh, that's really good, actually. They've got super fast speed and good siege, so they're an exceptional unit here. Just make 5 of them to deal with the shrines. I really, really like that from Kaiser. Whilst he knocks at this Teshogu shrine, it's now at 800 HP. Kynesie is now up to the Fortress Age, and he's going to drop a second town center. I really, really like that. With the Enlist Irregular shipment active, that's going to be super effective. And we'll have extra Minutemen from 2 TCs, and will help him hold pressure. But yes, he is going to lose that shrine. It is now gone. But it did buy him some time to get finally to the Fortress Age and maybe train some units. It's not like his opponent's inside his base, but he has lost a lot of economy for it.
Yeah, definitely. He's down to 90 shrine population. Probably going to be getting lower as these Oprishniks kill off that monk that could be rebuilding shrines, as well as... So both monks are dead now, and they're going to continue sieging, and Kynesie's just going to be forced to build shrines back at home where there's no animals for them.
Yeah, he's going to put them in his base and just suck it up. It's not ideal, but you need population. So that's what he's going to have to do. That's the only safe place to build them. Musketeers now moving forward. They are getting a little bit ahead of themselves. They don't want to be attacked by these Yumi and Besterios. But the Falks, they're now creeping forward here, sliding down those dunes, and are going to target that market. Just clearing the hole through, and the Musks coming in as well. They want to start sieging things down.
Yep, looks like that market is going to go down. Which is not surprising, it's just a market. But now that the units are sort of into the base here, we'll see. Kaiser chooses to stick around. Looks like he's going to back off for the time being. He's maybe concerned that there might be like flaming arrows or something being trained at a castle somewhere that he can't see. But just taking a look at the deck from Kynesie, he's sending 1,000 gold actually, which is a little bit unusual. And he's stacking a lot of resources, though. A lot of that is probably because he's... I suppose he's sending it because he's popped, right? And he has to send it. That's the only thing he can send.
Yeah, so you can't send shipments when you've not got no population
Down
for
to
them.
40 shrine pop. That feels so bad. He just can't. He can't do anything right now.
Yeah, it's looking.
It's
very
almost
solid.
like he's gonna have to just click the industrial age up button because he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. This is looking very solid for Kaiser. I really like how he's handled it. Just playing super safe, moving back with the Falconet just in case.
Even adding in his own wall along the whole right side of the map here, that's just going to make it a little bit easier for him to deal with, to apply this aggression, I guess, because he's only going to have to focus on the western half of the map. Not going to have to worry about, 5 Ashies just randomly walking onto all of his villagers on the right side or anything. He can just direct all of his attention towards applying pressure.
Yeah, and here he comes.
Although with these 2 town centers here with the list and regulars, they could potentially poke down these falconets reasonably quickly, actually. So Kaiser has to be a little bit careful about how he commits in here. But look at the resources stockpiled from Kynesie. He's still popped. He can't do anything. He's building a market, so just so he can buy wood and convert that into shrines. But his economy is hurting so badly right now. Kaiser just doesn't realize how hard he's popped him with those shrine kills.
Kaiser has just decided, right, I don't want to slam my units in there and just perhaps lose my falconets to your town centers with the enlisted regulars. Instead, what I'm going to do is roam the map. Just roam with my veteran Oprishniks, smash down all of the shrines, which is exactly what he's done, wall off across the whole map for pure safety, and just keep you contained in this bubble. And I don't care, because you've got no shrines. I'm just booming away. I get more villagers than you over time with the Russian eco bonus that is faster training villagers, and just take the game really, really safely. Finally now, though, he's gotten 3 extra falconets that he's trained at his artillery foundry, and now with the extra falconets, he feels comfortable to come in here and finish the game out. But look how quickly that's losing HP, that one, from these 2 TCs. But with 5 falcs, it shouldn't matter too much. These volleys going to take this building down very, very soon. Going to force a reaction from Kynesie. But what do you do against 5 falcs with just infantry as an army? He's aging up.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, he's aging out of desperation, because he had no, like, he couldn't spend his resources, and after not being able to spend his resources, he was just so far behind that he has to click the age up. And the only thing he can really send when he ages up is the 4 flaming arrows. That's the only thing that might be able to save him. Oh, he's got Yabusame, though.
Yeah, they're really strong against. They've got times 8 versus artillery here, so he's going to be able to take out 1 falc, but they're paying through the nose for it, going down to the musketeers. Actually, he's managed to take out most of the falcs.
Though. It will buy him time, though, taking that out. And there's some culverins behind this for Kaiser, though, so he's expecting flaming arrows. And it looks like he's going to back off, but Kynesie's just going to call GG upon seeing those culverins, yeah.
He sees the culves and thinks, my flaming arrow shipment is just useless, I can't handle this. And Kaiser just, another very strong showing. A much closer game than the Germany and France. Kynesie showing us that he is capable of putting out, a strong performance, which that certainly was. But ultimately, Kaiserklein does pick up another victory, taking it to 3-1. And this will now be match point coming up. If Kaiser can take the next game, he does win the series and qualify for the LAN. But let's take a look at the post-game here. All game long, he was just Kynesie belled up in the early game, and you can see the villagers not being able to work, and Kaiser just getting further and further ahead there. And then in the late game, really tapers off as you see the shrines all being destroyed, and just Russia so far ahead. It's no surprise, right? 25,000 resources gathered compared to about 18,000 for Japan there. Russia just doing exactly what he needs to do, containing Kynesie and not letting him gather from shrines or from his villages, keeping them all in the TC there. But yes, that's game number 4. Let's head on out and we'll take a look at the highlights of this series. It looks like the highlights are still being rendered out, so I'll wait just a little bit longer. Let's take a look at the Civ selection screen then. High Plains is up next. Germany, France, and Russia, all civilizations Kaiserklein has played. And High Plains is next. He could still play Portuguese here. ATP, very strong. Spanish as well. And I think there's quite a few civs that Kaiser could pull out and be very strong on High Plains with. So Kaiser not hurting on civilizations just yet.
You're not in the lobby, but he's already locked in Ottomans, which is a pretty respectable civ on High Plains as well.
That's definitely true. All those trading posts, Ottoman going to be really, really pleased. Their sort of weakness is their economy. Well, is their, after your crates dry up, their weakness is the economy, I suppose. And that's just going to keep him sustained, keep pumping Abus guns and Janissaries, those really, really expensive units. I wonder if the highlights are ready. Let's take a look if they are. Okay, doesn't look like we have anything prepared, so I'll assume not, unless told otherwise. And looks like Aztec's being selected from Kynesie. Quite confident pick there. How often is Kynesie an Aztec player? I don't think I've ever seen him play Aztec.
They're one of his civs.
I have seen him play Aztecs. It was against Snow in the grand finals. That final match on what was it? Herald Island.
Yeah, and there's a civ that he likes to play for sure. I don't think he'd call them his best civ or one of his best civs by any means, but they're definitely a civ that he knows how to play. And I've seen him play them on this map as well during this tournament. I can't remember who it was against, but he likes them on this map. sort of likes to get the trading posts and stuff like that for himself with that like 3 Travois card. Don't know how successful that type of game plan will be against Ottomans, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, we're clicking in, and it will be Ottoman versus Aztecs on High Plains. Ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 5. Game number 5 in a best-of-7 series between Kaiserklein and Kynesie. The score is currently 3-1. Match point to Kaiserklein. If he wins this game, he wins the series and will qualify for the LAN here at the Escape TV studio. He'll play on the main stage in person without any lag versus... well, we don't know who the players will be yet. Certainly you, Mitoe, you've qualified. We saw that game yesterday. This is the second qualification game of the qualifiers. So looking to see a good game. Certainly been a good series. A really nice showing from Kynesie on the New England. But the land maps he's struggling a bit on. Let's see if he can pick up a win with the Aztecs here on our High Plains. Here he is in the color blue as... the Aztecs, as said. Explorer heading straight out onto the map there, and looks like he's going to slam down a TP with that Wood Star and a Fire Pit as well. But yes, he needs to take a game here. No, he's going to walk straight past that. Okay, so...
This is a really good path for him to be taking, just because he's going to see the Ottoman Explorer here, and he's just going to just harass that Explorer while he builds the trading post. And that's going to be really, really annoying for Ottomans, because he has to just sit there and take it while he builds that. He doesn't really have a choice. Ottoman without a trading post is just not really a playable civ. And so he's going to have to just grit his teeth, bear with it, wait until that's done, and then just try to get out of there as easily as possible. But it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, that's kind of awkward. It does go up, but he's lost some health, and he's going to be snared all the way back home. Oh, pardon me, read the goddamn donations people are saying. I'm really, really sorry. I'm just so into watching this series. It's been really, really good. But yeah, thank you very much for the... Perry Wentos subscribed. I mentioned that one earlier. Interventu, I take a moment to read the names. I don't want to get them wrong, although I almost for sure will. Saying he likes the shadows, or perhaps I said that. He's saying that I said that. I do like the shadows. And Kaiser PhD on AoE, but I love the Kynesie style. Yeah, Kaiser definitely very, very knowledgeable about the game, as are you, Mitoe. But yes, it is very, very interesting to watch Kynesie play, especially on the water there. That was kind of fun. Lag is kind of getting worse and worse, by the way. I'm going to put that down to Kynesie's connection. He's never had a particularly strong connection.
I'm not sure, just because I think I've been yellow a couple of times in the lobbies here, so it might be me, which is a bit unusual, but not impossible, so...
Do you want to switch over to Discord so that these players have the fairest chance? I can use screen share.
Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just, like, this is a really important series, so I don't want to be causing any lag that might result in some big mistakes or anything. So I'm going to resign, and I'll exit the game as soon as it's unpaused here.
Okay, I will... There you go. Can you see the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Yes.
All right, we're back in, and Mitoe has left as an observer because in Age of Empires 3 we don't have a native observer mode. What we've got here was sort of patched together by a member of the community, and the observers actually are players in the game communicating, you know, all of the connections and stuff like that. So if you have a laggy connection, the players will experience lag, which is not ideal. But Mitoe is watching on screen share, and Mitoe is, I think... Well, I don't know how you do it, but you're somehow able to, despite not being able to pan around the map, you're able to say things and just know what's happening just by looking at the minimap. It's actually quite impressive how you do that. But yes, that is the case. Looks like Ottoman going to go for 130 food. Really nice treasure, but Aztec looming nearby, and he scouted that earlier when he...
Yeah, both players should know this exists. And it looks like Aztec has a really good chance of getting this Kaiser, getting the last shot on that Coyote. Thankfully for him, Aztec has no range, so he does have to wait for Kaiser to get closer there. Oh, that's really close.
That is really close. Kaiser does pick it up, though. And,
yeah, but But behind this, having taken all that damage earlier and with the Aztec Explorer right on his heels, he's not going to be able to build any trading posts in transition here. Although Kynesie may be going to go for the 50 wood instead.
Yeah, it's a nice treasure, and he can catch up with the Explorer later on. Although he's letting him get away for the time being, which I think Kaiserklein will breathe a sigh of relief because of. But let's switch on over to shipment sent. Kaiserklein now almost up to the next stage. His opponent's only just clicked up, but he is going to go up with the Messenger, which is a fast-aging politician. You can only use it once, and is going to use it for the colonial age. So we'll be up not too far behind his opponent there. But Kaiser now going to slam down a TP. But meanwhile, let's take a look at the Aztec Explorer. Is he going to go for the cow? No, he's going to just continue on and perhaps look for that Explorer along this trade route now. But looks like 3 forward villagers coming down. Looks like he intends to build a war hut very, very quickly with those 3 villagers there and be aggressive against Ottoman.
Yeah, and he's placing it in sort of like a really unexpected location, too. So Kaiser's not going to be able to, well, not like Kaiser would be able to scout anyway while he's building trading posts, but he's not going to be able to really identify where it is very easily, although he's going to head towards the Aztec base, it looks like. Going to double-check the fire pit, make sure that there's no war chief or warrior priest dance or anything going on, or some weird, like, FF shenanigans. Maybe spot that first shipment as it comes in with, likely the 700 wood, stuff like that. So he'll know that there's going to be a war hut somewhere when he sees the 700 wood and nothing else on the fire pit, but he just won't know where.
Yeah, so probably expecting that there is a war hut here. It's very, very off to the side. It's not a great war hut for map control, but I think Kynesie knows that he's not as good as Kaiser on land, and he's not going to be able to play a game where he just plays sort of standard. So he's going to have to do something a bit more surprising to try and catch Kaiser off guard, and that looks like his strategy here. Try and catch Kaiser off guard and sort of do that. And Kaiser doesn't usually react all that way. He's really good at the standard kind of stuff. And you've said before, the best way to beat Kaiser is just to do weird stuff against him.
Yeah, just do really weird timings and stuff, and he'll just... He's just not as comfortable with that. He's very comfortable in what he's really practiced at, which is just dealing with straight up play. And like if your play is very transparent, which Kynesie's often is because just he full walls his base, and then he likes to be very greedy, then that's something that Kaiser is very, very good against. But he hasn't seen the war hut yet, and he's been looking for it, so this is going to be a little bit of a red flag for him. And we'll see if that ends up catching him off guard or anything. At the moment, it's looking like with that 700 food, he might even look to age. Does he have units in queue?
Let's take a look at units in queue. He has a Hussar in queue here, so that's 700 food, going to allow him to get a big batch of Huss if needed there. But these Jans, they came out forward, but then they sort of came back to the middle of the map here, standing in a position where they can really either make it home quickly or go towards a trading post quickly. He's just not sure what Kynesie's up to or where he is or what he's doing. So Kaiser playing very passive for an Ottoman player at the moment.
Yeah, and you can see he walked the Explorer back through the base again just because he's like, I don't know what's going on. He saw that the fire pit, again, still only has 1 warrior priest, so maybe he's got some idea that... He might be thinking, like, okay, there's some really weird age-up going in, which is maybe why he's pushing here. Yeah. But, like, seeing 700 wood and then seeing nothing from Kynesie is going to be very confusing for him.
Yeah, and no war hut as well. So, and clearly he doesn't think it's... Well, he hasn't seen this war hut. He has no idea this is coming. And this is a big timing. Yeah, Kaiser's just like, lol. Oh, dear. Look at all these Puma. He's going to tear through the stable in this barracks here. And a good number of Mace Halton and a few Coyotes to boot going to force these villagers home. And now it's so perfect. He just comes in at the right moment. Just as he sees the Janissaries and the Hussars attacking his base, he thinks that's the right time to come in. And he's going to pick up 2 free buildings here.
Yeah, he saw the Explorer take a second run through his base, and he knew that Ottoman has no clue what's going on, so he's likely going to be trying to do something with his units, and that might be my opportunity to attack while those units are away. And yeah, he gets both the military buildings, which is going to be pretty awkward for Kaiser, but he's got the Minutemen to hold on here, and he's got 600 wood on the floor that he can sort of use to rebuild those, so it looks like he might be alright.
Yeah, although Mace Halton are gonna get killed off as they stream in from the side here, and really nice unit control from Kaiserklein. Every time these pikes get close, the Cav run away, and the Jans are just sort of cleaning the pikes up, and Kaiser just really, really strong unit control and is able to deal with the pressure, and Kynesie gonna give it up there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good attempt, but at the end, it's not going to work, and Kaiser's actually going to be going to the LAN in a 4-1 victory against Kynesie.
Yeah, a really impressive showing from Kaiser, but we, I think, expected a result like this. We knew Kynesie would do very well on New England, and he won that game in spectacular style after Kaiser did what seemed like so many things that were really, really well and really, really right. But ultimately, Kaiser, just the stronger player. And with the veto of Baja California, just another water map that will not be played, that Kynesie will not be able to be effective on. And that's a shame for Kynesie. This format not favoring him too much. He'd prefer to see more water maps, I'm sure, at least see Florida a bit earlier in the pool. But such is the way of things. Kaiser wins 4-1 and will progress through to Manchester. Congratulations, Kaiserklein. I wondered, would you like to interview him with me? I haven't got any questions prepared, but with you...
Sure, I'll ask him if he's up for that.
Okay, you ask him, and we'll see if we can arrange that whilst we take a look at the highlights from this game.
All right, he says he's up for it. Do you want me to add him to the call?
Yeah, add him to the call. Can we show something else so I can go on Discord?
There we are.
All right. I know there's at least one clip because I saw it get clipped at the end. So I'm going to see if we have some highlights, and then, or should we just do the interview first? Let's talk first. Hello, Kaiser. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, and you?
I'm very good.
Obviously, I'm fine, right?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. Congratulations, I think, is the first thing we need to say. You're coming to Manchester now in July. Are you excited?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was a bit worried I would just lose, obviously, because Kynesie's playstyle and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty relieved. I'm qualified now.
Yeah, very good. He is a frightening opponent to go up against, just because it's so different often. Like when I play against anyone like that on ladder, sometimes it just falls apart for me. But you did very, very well there. It was a really, really nice series. But if you don't mind, we'll ask you some questions about the games, just see what you think. I don't have anything prepared like I did for Mitoe. I hope you don't mind. But should we get into it?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay, so I think we'll bring up the Civ selection screen so I can see what the matchups were, and then hopefully from my memory I can ask you some questions about the games.
Well, I've got one question first of all. Why were you feeling so concerned about Kynesie's playstyle? I mean, you seemed to do really well against it in this series.
Yeah, I guess I did pretty well here, but sometimes I just really don't. I don't know if Kynesie underplayed or if I played better than usual, but I definitely can have problems against that kind of playstyle. So yeah, I'm just worried about it because I'm not I'm more the kind of player who likes to hit a strong timing and mass lots of units, take a good fight, micro my stuff, macro everything. I'm not really the kind of player who likes to go to late game and just like a bit of a slower kind of game, I'm more of an aggressive kind of player, I guess. And the walls are not exactly, and the water are really not my stuff, right?
Yeah.
So.
We'll talk about New England in a moment, but you say you don't like the late game, but I know you have dabbled in treaty, so you do have some experience going super late game. How relevant is that to Supremacy, do you think, though?
Well, actually, that's funny you talk about it because overall, I don't think treaty is too relevant unless it's super super late game and no water, obviously. But there's one thing for sure which has helped me. It's the covering fights, because in treaty you have to micro your curves, and most players don't actually really micro when they have artillery. And I really do try to micro them as much as possible. I think you could see that in the New England game before I started like doing random stuff and wasting my calls to monitors and whatever. But there was a point where I was pushing him and I was able to micro my coverings pretty well, I think. And that's definitely one skill I got from Treaty. Then for the other, like the rest of the skills, I mean, it's just like the hardest thing about late game is to macro and micro at the same time. I mean, to just like multitask and also keep your resources count a bit low. Obviously, it's not easy to macro perfectly when you're fighting on straight spots and you have tons of military buildings, tons of eco and stuff. And well, that doesn't really matter in Treaty because in Treaty you already have your eco set up. So you know it's just way easier in Treaty than in sub late game. That would be more of a team player stuff actually. Like some team player would be more comfortable playing late game than me, but a Treaty player. Unless it really goes to super late game, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the cold micro was definitely relevant. I did notice a couple of times you actually managed to kill considerable number of Kynesie's culverins, despite him having culverin royale upgrade on them as well. So that was really nice to see. And perhaps you're alluding to team game players, if they can take the games to the late game in 1v1, might be strong against you. That's interesting that you say that. But I want to take a look at the civilization selection screen, because I don't remember all the matches off the top of my head. So that first game was Germany versus Japan. And afterwards, you then played France versus British. And you took two very comfortable games of Kynesie there, with quite similar styles in both games, getting to the Fortress Age, having nice strong timings against him. Were you feeling confident with those civs?
Well, yeah, obviously it's my two main civs, especially Germany. And I've played Kynesie before as Germany against Japan, because Japan is his main civ and Germany is my main civ. So yeah, I was pretty confident, because when I've played him before, I pretty much won most of the time in that matchup, so I knew I would most likely win it. And also I had that build order I did already against Yaruga in the mono civ, I think, with the forward tower and stuff. And it's just a really good kind of aggressive FF against such a turtle kind of play. And so yeah, I was pretty confident and comfortable with that matchup. The second one, well, I didn't really expect him to go Brits. I thought he would just stick to Japan again on Deccan, not because it's a better pick, just because he's a main Japan player. But I'm overall rather confident with that matchup. I have more trouble when people do stuff like playing Colonial and cheesing you a bit, trying to kill your folks and then just running on the map. But when they just like do for that kind of semi-FF stuff, then I kind of know how to do it, like with Musketeer, Falconet creates kind of a classic. So yeah, just this time I had the Stagecoach because it's Deccan and he was so passive. Actually, kind of made it even easier that he was just walling so much and being so slow. And these Tuggies were nice, but I think they slowed him down a lot. And I had more trouble in the past winning that matchup against people who just like focus on edging fast and making more military than I did here. So but I'm pretty comfortable with both of these matchups.
Yeah, we thought they were sort of your strong civ, and I think that's just like the classic Kaiserklein style as well. To be honest, you're actually exceptionally easy to interview, just because you keep talking, which is really nice for me. But something I want to point out again was that forward tower in the German versus Japan game. Which cost you 250 wood, and you sent 700 wood, so you did have some wood. But yes, you get a nice timing; it's very fast. But isn't it kind of tough just to have so many vills on wood just to slam houses down?
Well, I went for only one military building because I know Japan has trouble dealing with lots of Ulans with a few skirms in the back, because Ashes are not a very good anti-cav, and if you have just enough skirms to snipe some of them, then the Ulans kind of like deal with the rest of the army. And so I can't afford to build a tower just because I don't need a Rax, basically, and I can make just a stable. But yeah, I'm actually not sure if that was really worth the investment, just because Kamchatka is not a super large map. I kind of regretted making that tower. When I did it against Yaruga in the Monociv tournament, it was on Florida, which is a bit larger, I think. Like the distance between the two bases is a bit bigger. and then it felt more important to have that forward shipment point. But in that game here, I could have probably just gone for the standard stuff without the tower, but
Yeah. It makes
I
sense.
guess, I mean, the extra few seconds probably matter because EH just, EH is just after my units get there. So if I have even 15 seconds more or 10 more to do some damage, it might make a difference. But yeah, not sure how good that was.
It seemed to work, and it explains why you sent 2 skirmisher shipments in a row, because you didn't have a barracks, so it kind of makes sense composition-wise. Yeah. I really liked in the France versus Deccan, you're really diligent when it comes to using your scout and hero just to block the wall placements, and you even managed to kill a villager building a manor that was 99% constructed. That must have felt really good.
Oh, I didn't actually realize it was 99%, but yeah, I think that was just kind of sloppy from him. The thing is, I was able to lock the fire of my musketeers, if you see what I mean, just because I had the line of sight of the native scout. So even if he was walking out of range, I could get the second volley off and snipe the villager. Maybe he didn't know about that and he felt like he could just escape his vills in time, or maybe he didn't escape it. I don't actually exactly remember, but he should have just led the manor there, basically. But yeah, it was pretty good for sure. I just wanted to disturb his build order, just annoying, delay him, while in fact I'm just doing a very small pressure, getting a stagecoach and aging really early. And I feel like these few masks just did a really good job there, because I don't know, he made how many? More than 5 turkeys for sure. That's already almost 1k gold. He lost the Ville, he lost the manor, he had to build walls and rebuild them and stuff. And I think it was just... It was just good there.
Yeah, it worked out really well. You forced a saloon and some thuggies, as you're saying. But I think we should talk about the juicy game that I think everyone wants to hear your thoughts on. So that New England game where Kynesie did take a game off you. We were saying that before this series, you're sort of one of the strongest players currently, especially on land. And Kynesie, perhaps in a similar vein, also one of the strongest players, but on water. I think the key difference here is that this format is, this map pool is very representative of the actual map pool. And with those vetoes, you get to remove a civ that a map that you want. Not too many water maps here, but New England is one you did have to end up playing on. You only get 1 veto, and Kynesie did very, very well there. I really liked a lot of how you played it. You started off with the Virginia Company and just spammed 20 villages out immediately before doing anything. And then that anti-sea pressure with the 4 privateers, that's such a strong shipment for British. Can you tell us your thoughts about that game and the strategy you went with?
Yeah, so the idea was just to first boom a lot, obviously, and then to have a really strong timing around the time where Kynesie is probably going to go industrial or fortress, something like that, and most likely before he actually has the Bastion upgrade, because that's a tough one, right? When he gets 7k 5 HP walls, or maybe it's 6k on EP now, instead of 1k 5, it's just a big difference. So you have to push before that. So yeah, I just wanted to get a good eco myself while having a strong timing early on, do some damage, like getting a couple TCs down and just killing some vills. And I didn't actually expect to kill the TC wagon, but that was obviously very, very good for me. And then follow up with some culverins to anticipate the artillery from Kynesie. Although he actually made artillery before me, I didn't expect him to have some that early. It kind of slowed me down there. But anyway, and I also had that caravel to ferry my units through the pond if I needed. Like if he would wall up really hard on both sides of the pond, then I might be able to just bring my units through the pond with the caravel. And then after that, I just wanted to, after I forced him to react on land and hopefully overreact on land, I just wanted to push the water really hard with that big privateer shipment, and I had lots of water upgrades in my deck to be ready to have better warships than him, because Brits have better water upgrades than ports.
Yeah,
and that did come again.
It looked for a moment that you actually managed to just destroy him on the water. 4 privateers is an exceptional shipment. The privateer itself, and it has a broadside. It's just a very, very strong card that I think only British and maybe another civ has. And your push on the water was really, really strong. But at some point, it sort of started to fall apart. I think as coastal defenses came in for him, he got that that card that gives the extra multiplier on his defensive buildings on the coast. How come you think you lost the water? Because it looks so strong to begin with.
Yeah, well, for one thing, I'm not much of a water player, so obviously I don't have as much experience as Kynesie, and at some point I start to kind of fall apart. Like I had my build, I had my idea how to do it, and then when it comes to just like playing pure water stuff, I start to suck, basically, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I just overreacted, like overextended on the water, bringing my longbows on the island and that kind of stuff, instead of just being happy that I denied most of the water. I mean, I didn't see that game, obviously, but I guess he had like just a few fishing boats on waves on his side, probably didn't have much fish left, and just holding the middle island should have been probably enough to hurt his water boom a lot. And then I could go back on land where he probably didn't have much units, and just like maybe bring some artillery, build some warships in the pond, that kind of stuff. But I didn't do that. I just overcommitted to the island, made so many towers, made the mistakes to build them close to each other, which means that they just all die with the long-range ability, that kind of stuff. And then at some point, he started to push me back. And and then I wanted to kind of cheese him, because I was like, oh god, I'm not gonna win that if I keep going that way. So I have to do something. So I just wanted to make like a ton of hussars and some mortars, but he scouted me, and then he just made goons, and then I kind of knew it was over.
Yeah, there was a time where you push the water, and like you were saying, you put your longbows and pikes on the island. Actually, you had like 50, 60 military pop something, I think, and he had like 7, and you just crushed on the water. I think if you had just gone in to his base and tried to pressure on land, that could have been quite effective. But Kynesie, he did take that game off you in the end, and I think what finally won it for him is he got that Imperial Age upgrade in, and it was just, I don't think you can keep up with that once the Imperial Genets came online. But that was a really quite exceptional game. Mitoe said that was one of his favorite games of the series, or of the tournament so far, actually.
Yeah, I think it was a really good game, yeah. And most importantly, in my opinion, what made me lose at the end, I mean, well, the Imperial upgrade was huge, but I think it was over a little bit before that already. Even if it wasn't obvious, I felt like it was over, because he's just set up, like he's got, I don't know how many layers of walls, all his eco in there, and I'm just like so aggressive. I didn't set up my base. I didn't have mill upgrades or plantation upgrades for a long time. I didn't have bastion. I didn't have layers of walls or something. I just knew he would just stream stuff in my base, and I would end up losing. But yeah, it was a really good game, I think. I didn't win it, but at least I think I put up a decent fight. And I'm saying that because lots of people say that it's impossible to beat Kynesie on water, or that no one could ever be as good as him, or something. Of course, he's very experienced, but my point is that you can't beat him if you just play well on water, which is something most people don't do. And I also don't play super well, but I hope this game shows that it can at least be close,
Yeah, it was a very, very good game to watch, and you put up a strong performance. But also, I think Kynesie, he put up quite a strong performance in the next game as well, at least compared to the previous victories you took off him in game 1 and 2. The Russia versus Japan game on the Thar Desert there, it took you a while to get to him, but it seemed really well played from your side, actually. Mitoe, would you like to ask some questions?
I guess, who are you looking forward to playing at the LAN the most? Of the players who could show up there.
Well, do we know? I mean, only you and me are qualified for now, right?
Yes,
that's right.
But
I think you can speculate on who you think will qualify.
Yeah. Well, probably you, to be honest, Mitoe, because we've been mates for a long time and always training together in tournaments. But we've also so many times met each other in like semifinals or small finals or something like that. And I think it would be funny to Well, I hope we meet in finals. I don't know if that's gonna happen, obviously, but it would be very nice to meet in finals finally after all this time where we just eliminate each other too early or after losing in semifinals. It would be cool. And in real life as well.
Mitoe finals.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And our series are always really close, I feel like, as well. So
yeah,
it could be exciting.
Yeah, for sure. You've played quite a few, I think a couple of best of nines, or the last one on the channel was like a 4-5 actually, so it's very, very close. You guys definitely even match. But I don't know what the seeding will look like for the LAN event. Don't interpret the current brackets to do with the LAN. They are separate things, and there may well be reseeded. But yeah, we'll decide on that later on. A couple of general questions, Kaiser, just to wrap it up. I want to know what your favorite civs are, what civs you've played the most, and what you feel the most comfortable playing, and sort of why those are the case. And also, we've heard before that you've not really taken to the Asian dynasty civs, China, Japan, India. You sort of shy away from them a bit. Why is that as well?
Okay, so first, the civs I like to play most. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that my main civ is Germany. Then you have France. It's my second main civ. Then after that, it's I would say, well, Russia, Otto, Su, and Iro. And I'm probably forgetting one.
Portuguese, maybe, sort of?
Yeah, let's say tier 1 is like Germany, France, and you got tier 2 Russia, Otto, Su, Iro. And then you got probably Ports, Brits, Dutch, stuff like that. And about the Asian civs, I think, well, first, obviously, I was a vanilla player for a long time. I mean, not for a super long time, for 2 years, but I just started playing vanilla civs. And I strongly believe that when you start the game, and even when you get to like PR30 rank, you should really focus on only a couple civs to improve. Just because then you can focus more on your mechanics and not on the build orders and stuff. So when I moved to T80, I could play only France and Germany basically, and I just stick to that. I first had to learn how to counter T80 civs and stuff, so I didn't start learning them or something, and then I just kept on going that way, and now I could learn some. I can play some Japan or India, just not well, but I can. But I think they just don't fit my playstyle, to be honest. It's kind of like timing playstyle where you just want to be accurate with your build order, get lots of units, get a good fight, and that kind of stuff. And I see like Japan is totally the opposite of that. China kind of has that, so I guess I could play it, but well, I guess I could China actually. I don't know why I don't. And India is kind of like Japan in that way. It's just very slow, and you kind of want to buy time and stuff, and you don't really want to be aggressive and take big fights or something. So I guess that's why.
Cool. It's nice to get your thoughts then. One final question. When you marched your hussars and janissaries in that final game across the map, and then suddenly appears with like hundreds of Puma Spearmen and Mace Halton, you typed XD in the chat. What were you thinking?
Well, I was just really confused about what he was doing. At first, I didn't think I would get a stagecoach because it's Aztecs, and Aztecs are faster than Otto, probably just because they have that war hut shipment point. So you can't really fight them in the middle map or something. So you have to be a little bit defensive, and then I don't expect to be able to take a stagecoach. But then at some point, I was like, what is he doing? First, he aged up at like 4 minutes, so I wasn't sure if that was just a mistake or if there was some kind of weird slow age. And then I just didn't find anything. I was scouting his base. I saw he was mining tons of gold. Sorry. I was like, okay, so he's either making Puma or he's like going H3 or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't see a war hut, and I just scouted everywhere. I didn't find one. So then I was like, okay, he's doing some weird shit. I'm just gonna go in before he's H3 or something. And then just when I go, I see his stuff coming to my base, and I was like, oh boy, he was going for a side base. But I was pretty relieved at the same time because I knew I could hold it. Because
your unit control.
Because Jan Haas and Minutemen and stuff in base would be very strong.
Yeah. It looked like you just handled that really, really well when you finally got across the map. I mean, you lost both your buildings, but you won the fight and whatever. It's fine there. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there. I think next up, me and Ham are gonna, or Zach and Ham actually, are gonna finish off the Stronghold mission we were playing earlier. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Thank you, Mitoe, for casting. Congratulations, Kaiser. That was a really fun series to watch. And I'll see you guys later on.